up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm Celtic Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the first show of Wrestling on the Rocks. That's right, Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show, because we can't figure it out. I'm here. I am at Ref Marsh. I cannot figure this out. Klump, have you figured this out?
No, I am Crybaby Klump on Twitter. I don't know my password. This is Zelda, aka Thunderfucker. They know their password. They tweet more than I do.
Is that your cat?
Yes.
Yes, that is his cat.
Okay, well, it's also an audio podcast. People...
Yes.
And this voice
is my
is...
cat Zelda. Oh. They weigh like 40 pounds. They're hurting my lap. Get off. Ow, oh, yeah. Fucker.
And this is producer lady on the side, and we got Leah Moonlight in the chat.
Already.
So thanks.
Howdy.
Got some people ready. They're just sitting there on the ready. Thank you, Leah, for coming through. Cheers. Oh my God, I can't even get into the chat. My whole app just crashed. Oh God. Oh God. Well, we do have a resident guest on the way, so we'll say hi to them as they come in. Guys, we're dedicated. We're dedicated people. We're here for all of you and for us. Not only have I not been feeling well lately, but Klump is barely hanging on.
Yes.
And we are doing this because we
are.
Love it.
And for once, I will request a sponsorship. I know that's typically your department.
Go ahead, yeah.
Procter & Gamble, your delightful product, Pepto-Bismol. It saved me many a time. I would appreciate your sponsorship and a crate of this.
Yeah. So your glass is just Pepto and ice?
No.
I
also water and decaf coffee and yeah.
Yeah, I've got just coffee. I'm just sipping on coffee right now. I'll probably have a small glass of something here as we go, but yeah, I'm just trying to stay alert, trying to stay aware. Amanda, you've made it.
I did. Oh my goodness. Yes, time zones and me are not my friend. I made a goof. But I'll tell you what I'm drinking because I just got it hot off the press. The non-sponsored Sonic slushie, but I haven't put alcohol in it yet. So
nice.
It's cherry, and we'll probably have vanilla stoli in there eventually.
The old cherry vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Into that.
Dump Pepto-Bismol into a Sonic.
Yeah, Pepto-Bismol Sonic.
Hey, if they made a slushie like that, I would totally have it. Totally.
Pepto slushie.
That hurts. That hurts.
Yeah, we got Lunar in the chat. Thank you for coming through, Lunar. Lunar couldn't be more hyped for the weekend. Amanda, how are you feeling?
Actually, pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Nice.
I'll tell you. Only because like the wrestling yesterday was actually pretty damn good. So,
It was.
Sorry, no complaints.
Very good.
Did you
Very
watch
good.
both shows or just one?
I watched both.
Well, I mean, there was
We were
highs and
gonna
lows
have
on
words.
both, I'd say. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We'll fight it out. But yeah, we were as you were coming in, we were just going over. Me and Klump both have been a little under the weather the past couple of days, and we are here and we're doing it because, man, if there's nothing I like more than hanging out with my drinking buddies, my wrestling buddies, and just talking about this crazy world that we are obsessed with. So,
Good old wrestling.
let's see. Lunar says he's super stoked for Royal Rumble. Dude, this is like a dream come true for him. Can you imagine if Goldberg not only wins the title, but also wins the Rumble? Goldberg is unstoppable. He can do whatever he wants, man. And Lunar's been going on and on about it. He's been messaging me all day. Just all his fantasy booking of him winning so much. He's like, oh, we should unify all the titles. It's been crazy. I hear him. I get it. He's dominant.
That's trendy though, to have a billion titles, regardless of like what promotion it is. New Japan,
That's a good point.
Impact.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well,
Goldberg
let's go over a
wins
couple things.
Gets to choose who's going for the Rumble. He challenges Sasha.
Yes. Spear for the bank statement.
You thought it was progressive when Tessa took the Impact title from Sammy. Watch this.
No, she took it from Brian Cage, I thought. Oh, no, it was from Sami Callihan, huh?
It was Sammy, because wasn't it one of those, like, kind of semi-death match-ish, but not?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
I don't remember, but
I think the first ones I saw of her winning was against Brian Cage. That's why it was in my mind. But, guys, this weekend, like Lunar is saying in the chat, is Royal Rumble. It's going to be exciting, and so much so we're going to go ahead and give away some stuff. There's only a couple spots left. If you or your friends want a free T-shirt, just message any of us, except for Klump. Klump doesn't know his password. Message us at WOTR The Show. Hit us up on Instagram at Wrestling on the Rocks. On Instagram, I'm at Marsh Ref. On Twitter, at Ref Marsh. We are being hosted during this giveaway during our watch along with at TW Takes Podcast on Twitch.tv as well. You can hit them up on Twitter. You can hit up Mrs. TW Takes on Twitter. Kevlar on the Rocks with an X. Any way you can find us. Facebook, you can message us there too. Just let us know you want in. It costs nothing. We're going to be giving away 2 T-shirts and a pin. The pin, you got to be in the chat during the watch along. The T-shirts, you just got to let us know beforehand. Kevlar will be doing the old bingo ball number picker for the Rumbles. And yeah, if your entrant is the number that is selected, if they win the Rumble, you win the shirt. So you can win up to 2 shirts and a pin, to be quite honest. So check that out and come join us. Come have a drink with us this weekend. Are you guys in the raffle? I think Lunar was hesitant to join the raffle because he goes, I don't want it to look like a work. And I was like, I can't tell you who's going to win and what number they're coming out at as well.
Yeah, I didn't get my numbers yet.
Yeah, the numbers haven't been given yet.
Oh, okay. Oh well, I thought they were. I'm like, oh, I don't have my numbers.
Yeah.
But
Damn it.
Yes. Damn it.
No, Kevlar's going to be doing that really soon here. He just wants to get those last 2 spots filled up. So let's see. But yeah, I mean, I also can appreciate that he doesn't want it to look like it's like we're just giving away shirts to everyone we already know. But like I said, I can't tell you what entrant's going to win. So if I tell you, oh, you're number 12, and then 12 wins, like I knew that was going to be it. What? Mm-hmm. So either way, I think it's all good. Bishop is in the chat, so he's coming through too. Yeah, follow him on the old twitch.tv/TW Takes Podcast so you can be there for the watch along, the old drink along. Yeah. Let's see real quick as a quick shout out. Happy birthday to Sheamus. Ice Shamey. Dung 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 da da dung dung. It is Sheamus' birthday. Cheers, fella. Sheamus, most notably famous for being in our intro. Mm-hmm. Friend of the show, I like to say.
The slightly less famous cousin of Beaker.
Yep, the less famous cousin of Beaker as well. Let's see. Lunar's on his way out. See you, Lunar. Thanks for coming through. Shredded 43. Peace out. Let's see. Okay, so there's only 2 other things. Do you guys want to talk about the NXT signing or the merger? Let's talk merger because we get into the NXT stuff anyways. Peacock and WWE Network merged. We talked about it briefly. Or maybe it wasn't briefly on Tuesday. It was quite a while. But you 2 were not there, so I didn't know if there's anything you guys want to say about Peacock, NBC Universal buying out the WWE Network.
I think it's awesome. I think so. I know you mentioned this on Tuesday, and you mentioned it in our group chat, and I'll throw it out, the idea of, I get Peacock for the cost of WWE Network, and that's true. But I don't see a negative to this. I see in having more connections with NBC Universal and having connected Peacock, that just elevates, wrestling to me. That's the biggest thing I see is if wrestling is so niche, then who the fuck would buy it out? And that just means like we are, getting back into the mainstream, and that's awesome. I'd like to see this happen more. I'd be curious to see if possibly, because TNT is and Time Warner are very much attached to HBO, maybe have AEW on HBO Max, or just see more promotions in more places. We don't have to we shouldn't have to seek it out in weird ways. It'd be awesome, you know. So that's
true.
my view.
Remember right when HBO Max was becoming a thing, the ring on AEW was all HBO maxed out. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was one of our biggest complaints with when AEW started. That, well, during that period when we couldn't figure out where the hell they were streaming.
It wasn't on Sling at the time. That's
Yeah.
why we ended up buying Hulu. We had to switch up our whole life.
Yeah.
Our life turned upside down just to watch wrestling.
Yeah, so Streamline is much easier for everyone.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I always imagined that the Apple TV app would be much more of a hub of shows through all the different apps and stuff, and it hasn't panned out to be that. But I still think that's the overall, to me, goal, to make like a cable channel out of your streaming apps. You know what I mean? But I don't know how that would all work. I'm not a coder. But I agree. I tell you what the negative view is, and then we'll pitch it over to Amanda to see what she wants to say about it. The Peacock app in and of itself is difficult to navigate, and the search engine functionality is poor. Someone made an example, and I saw it on Twitter, where if they looked up S.A. Rios 2002, I think it was, it shows every match of S.A. Rios, and there was like 13 of them, so not even a lot. If he goes to NBC Universal Peacock and does a search for Amy Poehler, it pulled up no results, even though on the opening page there was an advertisement for Parks and Rec. And you're like, okay, so it's not categorized the same way that the WWE Network one is, where they break it down by match, by chapter, by who's involved, by all of that. So I do understand that gripe. However, it's still a little early to tell what we have on our hands. So I would say that, yeah, that's probably reason to pause and say, oh, is my network experience going to be shittier? But the way people are responding is like it's on fire. Go ahead, Klump.
Well, I'll let Amanda go first, but I have a thought on that. So, Amanda, what did you want to say?
Well, I actually have Peacock because I have my internet through Xfinity. So they give me this little box called Flex, and it has a lot of these free things. So Peacock arrived a couple months ago and is free. Now, I can attest that on the app, the search is pretty bad, but on the actual, when you're looking at it on a TV and using it from the box, it actually works pretty well. So it's just maybe there's something in their app technology that's not great. I think it's kind of awesome because this basically is opening up, WWE to people who never really watched it, don't know. I'm just curious about, the partnerships they have with Fox, because obviously SmackDown is on Fox and then everything else is on USA Network. And I'm pretty sure that they're not part of the NBC Universal umbrella.
USA is actually. NBC Universal owns USA.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. But the Fox thing. So that's, well, obviously they I don't think they own Fox, but well then Fox. So I'm just curious about that. But I think it was a good move. So
I think it's cool. I'm watching those stocks. Klump, what do you want to say about it?
So two things. One, it is interesting for sure to see how it affects Fox, but they have a 5-year deal with Fox, which is big for network content. I feel, though, this is a great future move. And, if they're going to have this relationship with Peacock, when that deal ends with Fox, it could lead to an extension with Fox. It could lead to, hey, we want SmackDown to go to NBC, and that could be possible. But what I wanted to throw out, one of the big things of the network that's been so good for so long, and it has gotten praise for a long time, has been its layout and search functionality. Before a lot of networks were coming up with streaming platforms, the WWE network existed and was really on par with like Netflix for its layout, usability, and search function. I remember, when one of the few other sports things I have, I like NHL. When I would use the NHL kind of streaming apps, I'd be like, this sucks because the searching was terrible. So I could see a positive out of this deal being, in addition to the wrestling library, the rights to the network could also mean rights to the coding and that ability to search. And if they can integrate WWE Network's layout and functionality there, that's a huge win for everyone, and that makes a lot more sense to me as to why this deal exists. Because yeah, I was looking at Peacock last night and I was like, this is pretty terrible in terms of like, I like that I could see all these different networks and what they were streaming live, but searching things up kind of sucked.
Yeah, producer had something you want to say about it?
Oh, yeah, I would say on Klump's point, it's definitely on par with what Triple H was saying, that they're thinking long term. That's the first thing that came to mind, that, yeah, this is definitely a long-term move, and that doesn't sound bad for wrestling in general.
Yeah, no, it puts wrestling on the forefront of a lot of eyes that weren't thinking about it anymore. Even the people who used to watch, who don't watch now, don't even think about it, right? They might think about it if they're at a toy store and they have kids, or if they never walk by the toys, they're never going to think about it. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that made the Attitude Era so popular, it was kind of a takes money to make money thing, I'll give you that, but Stone Cold was on everything. He was on wallets and lighters at the gas station. They were on cups. You know what I mean? Like, WWE's logo and faces of people there were on everything. So it was on people's mind. So then when they tune in and it's also a good product, they stay. You know what I mean? And at this point, because all of TV is appointment viewing, no one's just watching live typically for a ton of commercials, unless it's sports, which is why having SmackDown commercials during football games, I don't think is an accident that we've seen their viewership go up, because it's on people's minds. So if people who are in the NBC app, which is some crazy amount of million viewers, they said, if there's a logo for WWE on the top of it, because you can go to all the WWE stuff right up there, fuck. I mean, how many people are going to go there and be like, oh yeah, what are they doing? Click. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it's good. I think it's win-win. I do understand and I hear the concern about Peacock. I'm on the same techno mind wave as Klump. I don't think them searching for the network was strictly a content deal. I mean, I don't understand contracts and I don't know, but I can't imagine that the whole thing was like, we just want all that data. We just want all the videos. You keep the app and all the coding that went with it. You can trash it. Like, what? Like you said, it's award winning. It literally has won awards for being as good as it is. I would hope that part of that merger would be Peacock looking to absorb WWE's network team. You know what I mean? I would hope. I don't know.
And we do know that they are hiring for their documentary team.
Yep.
Ooh. And if it were purely for content and like, you know, bringing wrestling content to the forefront, to me, this is exactly why not, you know, you'd think, well, why not go with like NJPW or something? The content would probably be significantly cheaper to add on to something like Peacock and be interesting. But if you compare it app for app, NJPW's app is still the most frustrating fucking app I've ever used.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh my god.
Like, I hate it passionately. So
and
yeah,
then,
no.
Yeah. A quick second would be ROH, would be the second app that's just no.
Yeah.
Like Club. Yeah, it's horrible.
And
but
I think
maybe
it's also, like you said, I think if they were just looking for content, we might not see the merger the same way. You know what I mean? If they're like, hey, the library was sold to NBC, the network will remain its own independent app. They want these apps to be combined. They're looking for the Voltron of apps.
Yeah. And maybe another positive out of this for wrestling overall is if this brings more eyes to wrestling, and if this is something that, you know, we're realizing, hey, a significant amount of the population, it may not be growing, but there's these people who straight watch this every week. Yeah. Well, one thing that did lose out was ESPN has been playing old WWE events. We don't know if that's going to continue, and I don't see it doing that. But maybe part of this that occurs is because I believe Disney is still the primary owner of ESPN. Mm-hmm. What if they made a deal with Ring of Honor, or what if they made a deal with NJPW,
or
you
Impact?
Yeah, you know, well, I think Impact's bed's been pretty much made with, you know, with Time Warner.
You can watch that for free on one of the other ones. I think it's called Tubi or something. Yeah, you can see the old ones, and I think they play the new ones like live, I guess. I don't know. I don't really watch it, but I noticed that the other day because I was watching some like random old thing, and they had the tag team Generation Me. If you don't know who Generation Me is,
that's the Young Bucks.
That's the Young Bucks. Yeah. But here's something that I kind of was thinking about, and I just didn't think of it. There's actually opportunity too, because remember, Universal, at least in the States, obviously they have 2 theme parks, and one of them is by their performance center in Orlando, not by it physically, but it's in Orlando. So you never know that they might end up, getting rid of, I don't know, the Water World show or the, Fast and Furious thing or whatever they do, and actually have some wrestling and use some of those trainees that are at the performance center. That could be a possibility.
Marsha's eyes got huge.
It's endless there, but I think that is some food for thought too.
The idea of part of Universal Park being like WWE World, are you fucking kidding?
That would
be incredible.
We'd finally get a museum.
Have a rock ride.
And even if it's just one ride, like, because Universal has I don't think they're great at making like lands like Disney is, but they have like the Simpsons ride in the Universal Hollywood is my favorite ride, period.
Yeah.
And having like, I imagine having like a 3D style like kind of simulator ride where it's you in a tag team match and you could do different eras.
No, Marsha's thinking like Hell in a Cell.
Hire me, motherfuckers.
Can you imagine though? Like, how like in the Star Wars one where you're in there and like you break through the ice and the little misters kick on? What if they had it where you're like front row and Triple H comes out and just and the misters start hitting you?
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh my god.
Pump the water from the lagoon from Jaws. Oh, it's vaguely gamey. It makes sense. Oh, it's thicker.
I remember at Disneyland
I love that
back in the
ET
day.
ride. Gosh.
Yes.
Disneyland back in the day used to have a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where you sit in the theater and you'd have like, I don't know, these things pop up near your feet to freak you out, and mist and all these like little cool effects to make it seem like you're there.
Oh yeah. Yo, they could do that. They could do the SmackDown splash where it's like Splash Mountain. Fucking Rock just slaps you and the whole thing falls down. You go into the water. Dude.
Oh god. See, lots of things to do. Lots of things. So
that's a good point. I've not heard anyone bring up the fact of like, yeah, NBC. But what you didn't hear was the Universal part.
Yep.
And like
so
producer said real briefly, they could put up a museum. They could put up a location of a bunch of merch, or not. Well, I mean, you could obviously have the gift shop, but a bunch of Ring U stuff and statues and video rooms and stuff.
Yeah, but I think a ride or actually having live wrestling would be better than a room full of stuff. Because some people will be like, what's this? They don't care. They want to ride.
Both.
You know.
What are you out of your mind? You gotta have a place to look at the boots.
Yeah, because even at Disneyland they have
but
spots.
You've heard it here first. So if they all of a sudden have like a WWE land or whatever, this is where you heard it from. I was just thinking that because immediately when I think of Universal, NBC Universal, is I think about Universal itself, and we didn't even throw Comcast in there. So I mean, because that's that whole. It's is it now, Comcast and NBC Universal Comcast or whatever is their official name under the.
Well, because growing up near Disneyland in California, I forget exactly where it was, but I remember there was an area that was like you go in and it's almost like a gallery of like the actual artists and like the history of Disney, and I thought it was really awesome, and it was just. Amongst all the rides and everything, there are these sections where you can go and look at the history, and it was just really cool and interesting, I thought. So I could definitely see that for the wrestling section of a park.
Yeah, you could.
That, and I agree. I'd love that. Like, my favorite parts of Disney are like it's like the atmosphere of it. So if you had like an MSG kind of world, and then it's a Hall of Fame, and it's these little moments, I'd fucking go crazy about it. Like to just
you could easily have meet and greets and stuff there too.
Yeah. It wouldn't have the like economic weight on the company of like a WWE Live or these other things they have. Like they could do the small thing and it's attached to it, and it becomes like a we have Minions for Universal. We could have little things in here and there. We can have like
Referees
somebody
running around.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah. Have somebody kind of dressed up like have people just generically dressed up like luchadores,
Yeah, luchadors, referees, dude. I'm gonna cry. This is so exciting.
And what a-
You know what I was thinking right now, speaking of Disney, because they only have it in Florida. What if they had kind of like that Hall of Presidents, but you have like some really cool old school things? Because I would love to see an audio animatronic of Andre the Giant, because that's going to be massive. And
dude, they could hire Dan Soder to do it.
Yeah, see that. It's gonna be. It would be great. They come out. They do they play their entrance music. Do something very signature. And yeah, I mean that I'd watch that all day.
For sure.
All day.
Sure. Pretty sure it's something you want to throw in.
Oh, and just what a cool way. I know this is all hypothetical, but that would be such a cool way to continue a legacy.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys, I think we did it. Let's shut it down. That was it. That's the finale. That easily is the most exciting prospect about this merger. The other stuff is cool, and it's like, oh, how nice. But like Triple H said, like producer brought up, like Klump was saying, this feels like a long game. Yeah. If they're getting into $1 billion bed with NBC Universal, how long till they're walking around in that theme park thinking, yeah, we could set up shop right here.
They'd owe us money. Because I think we should be in the development phase of this.
Oh, trust me. We will be tweeting this out from our show here shortly, and we're going to be adding Dan Soder, Triple H, Vince McMahon. We're going to be letting them all know.
We know there's a reason they kept all that ring-used stuff at corporate.
Yeah, that warehouse getting nice and clean up for A&E and their stupid little program, that's just the beginning. Go ahead, Klump.
Well, it's... like in the past, there was a period of time, Impact, when it was TNA, did tapings at Universal Florida. Yeah. Like, for a long time. And they kind of used it in a weird way because it was their main TV show. And I think it was honestly part of why they failed. They'd give away free tickets in the hope of getting people in. And it didn't really work out. Imagine something like this where you could do like a regional kind of form of NXT. Or of live, where like we could have, hey, we're going to have shows that are, part of it, like where you could go in and have indie talent there. It's part of your ticket of going into Universal for California or for Florida. And then, I don't know. I could see a lot of weird things to it. Like in California, I could see it being like, have part of Battle for Los Angeles be at Universal.
Well, they'd never have that.
I know. I know they never would.
Super Dragon would probably roll it with like, even when I'm dead, no freaking way.
Yeah, but having like, to me, I always see this as like a way of highlighting indies or highlighting talent because, you have to have a feeder system. You have to have an ability to highlight people, and then you could have like these people coming in.
Well, and, also you got CWF out there. But David Marquez would work with anybody if the stuff was set up right. And you imagine putting Marquez in charge of the LA division of NXT. Here's the other deal. NXT and Klump, you may know this, you may not, just based off what you said. Their televised product was it's not. It's the best of the best. They used to run local shows a lot. Without televising any of it until people got to a certain point where they would put some people on. Even people who were still green to us had at least been in front of a few crowds a few times. They could just start doing that at Universal with people coming and going as much as they want. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The hell did you do?
You guys fucking spiked it.
We made you happy.
This is why I love this.
Yeah.
We're building a wrestling theme park.
We just built a wrestling theme park. Leave us alone.
Yeah, leave us alone.
We're like in a little sandbox. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
So good.
As I'm downloading roller coaster. Why did I say roller coaster? That sounds so weird. Roller Coaster Tycoon and building.
Well, you got the German import version of it. You didn't even get the actual one.
I think that's half an incredibly anti-Semitic term by accident being said. Just.
Well, now we gotta cut it.
Yeah, great.
Everybody
Fuck.
edit it.
This was a good clip until
Yeah,
That
now it's
wasn't my
gone.
That wasn't
But-
my intent. I'm on that team.
I'm an ally.
No,
Guys.
I'm part of it.
I think that's awesome. I really like that perspective on the idea of this merger, bringing the scope out a little bit and thinking a lot more long term. What does this look in 10 years? I like the idea of that. I think it's so cool, and I'm surprised no one else has made that connection at all. This is why we do what we do. You heard it here first. So,
Because wrestling fans want to argue about stupid things like ratings and all sorts of other stuff. Like, oh, I don't want to buy Peacock. I have to, spend money even though it's cheaper. I mean, yeah. Think of the good things. That was a very positive thing coming out of it because, as much as I don't like to spend money on WWE, I go to damn fucking Universal to see, a theme park, a land or whatever. People go
especially
see
with
that
their
Harry
newest
Potter.
signees. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or imagine
Or the
if you are a
people that-
legend, you know what I mean, and you want to do meet and greet stuff that's, whatever. Like imagine
Oh, yeah.
Undertaker just having to go out to Florida and not having to travel to some weird area for accesses once a year. What if he's just like, hey, I just want to, you know what I mean? The drop-ins
Yeah.
you could get. I think that's awesome, and I like that point too, where you're like, some podcasts are out there yelling and screaming about what they don't want and what they hate. We're building a theme park. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Klump.
Well, also imagine, so like, if you build this up, if you have this working, if you have this happen, imagine imagine you're like Los Angeles and you have this going on there and like, oh, you know what we could also do? We could book like the LA Expo Center for a Starcast that's theoretically separate of this, but then you're also within about a 30-minute drive of this.
Yeah.
it's there.
That'd
It
be
works.
a Conrad move for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grim Reaper's in the chat.
I think it's even less. I don't know. Like I haven't been to LA in a minute.
Yeah.
They
Grim
can do
Reaper,
it
thanks for
at-
coming in, dude. You just missed the hugest breakthrough we've ever had in all of wrestling, and now you're gonna have to go back and listen to it because I'm not recapping it for you.
Yeah.
We're building a theme park.
Yeah, it was kind of long-winded, but it was pretty awesome.
It was huge.
Idea of Amanda's.
Proctology
It was
based.
huge. And everyone who's listening on podcast, thank you for listening through that. Grim Reaper, if you are listening now, go back and listen to the podcast when it drops tomorrow morning. I might release this one tonight just to get it out there because the heard it here first is very important on this one.
Yeah, we never get recognized, but one day we will.
Yeah, the published stamp on that one I think is going to be a timestamp for sure, not a day. At what moment?
Yeah.
Justin Time says wrestling theme park book it immediately. It sounds like Justin just barely walked in too. You guys have got to go back and listen to the beginning of this show. You can turn it off at this point, but. We just had the best. Now everyone wants to talk. But yeah, I'm excited. I love all that. And like I said, bottom line, end of the day, what we do know about this merger is, hey, I get 2 apps for the cost of 1 now, and I'm okay with
Hell
that.
yeah.
And if there's struggles, there's struggles. When WWE Network a year and a half ago or so made that huge change where they recategorized a bunch of stuff, dumped a whole bunch of product, and then brought it back in later or indexed, I hated all of that, but I was like, well, this is just it now. You got to learn it. You would have liked this one, Klump. I did say that a lot of people complaining about Peacock absorbing network sounded to me to be in the same tone of, I'm not buying the new iPhone because it doesn't have a home button. Okay. Don't buy the new one then.
Mhm.
Let's
Go get your
see.
shitty phone.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your shitty phone right out of here. Just as he's been listening to the whole time and he loves this idea. All right, thank you. I didn't mean to besmirch the good name of Justin Time 211. I apologize. I wasn't trying to insinuate anything negative. We love him. He's a good dude, good friend of the show. He'll be there at the watch along too, guys. So give a follow to @TW Takes Podcast and come to the watch along. Was there anything else you guys want to touch on that, or could we move on to the next thing and then jump into AEW?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you guys talk about Superstar Spectacle on Tuesday's show?
No.
Okay, let's do that after next thing. It's big news.
I still don't know anything about it other than that it happened. So you can talk about as much as you want on it.
Okay. Well, like,
Well, I'll just say this, then you tell me what you think. Maiko Satomura was officially signed with NXT UK, and before when she first signed, we were told that she was going to be a coach and a trainer. They put out a video about talking about her wrestling. They put out a bunch of audio clips from when she was in the Mae Young Classic talking about her as a final boss and a legend, and it looks like she is signed to a talent deal. Again, I don't understand contracts, but it sounds like she'll be in wrestling matches. So I think it's really cool because we were thinking that she was the creepy person in the chair. I wonder if part of this is to distract away from that so people stop thinking it's her. That's not to say it is or isn't, or maybe it doesn't even matter if it is. But what do you guys think about this announcement that she's officially part of NXT UK as a talent and not just as a trainer?
I think that's amazing. I mean, it just goes to show that they really have their finger on the pulse more so with women's wrestling. I mean, them and Impact. But it's a really good win, I think. So I'm excited.
Yeah. I was excited. The clips I saw of her, I remember watching the Mae Young Classic and thinking, like, damn.
Yeah,
Klump.
Where did I see
Go
her?
ahead.
I was thinking, where did I see her? Oh, I saw her at WrestleCon a couple of times, and she was just phenomenal. Blew me away. And
Did you get to meet her?
No, I did not, because one of the shows we had to leave because it was ROH, and ROH was way far away, so we had to leave. But she was incredible. I think one of the matches she might have wrestled Tessa Blanchard on one of them.
Oh, that sounds good.
Maybe I got to go look back, but it was a really awesome show. I know she did the Rev Pro show and she did one other show, but yeah, it was awesome.
Phenomenal. Grim Reaper says in the chat that Kaylee Ray on Twitter was saying, or was like, fuck. Yeah, she's coming for your title, dude, and she's going to probably kick your head right off to take it. Klump, what do you think?
I thought it was cool. I didn't see much of it. You guys threw it out. I was like, oh, I didn't know much about it. I'm looking up the person now.
Yeah, it was a cool video package. Very nice. Producer, what you want to say?
I'm just so excited because I feel like I'm the only person on the show who consistently watches NXT UK. So for me,
Never misses it.
I am so excited because this whole time I've been thinking, I don't know why more people aren't watching it. I love the product, the women. I know they're not on as much, but also it's a much shorter show. But this, I think, I'm just so excited. This is really, to me, going to bring NXT UK to the forefront where people, I hope, are going to start tuning in every week like me.
Yeah.
And real quick, I do think this is also like maybe a sign that hopefully soon maybe we'll get a longer show, because every time I see people talking about it online, they're always like, man, why isn't this 2 hours? Why isn't this 3 hours? And exactly. So hopefully this leads to much bigger things. That's all I got.
Yep. She was saying she's so excited about NXT UK. She was telling me, she's like, it's got to be blowing up soon. It's going to be the biggest thing soon because it's just every match is so good. Klump, anything you wanted to say about it?
No, like I said, I'm looking into it right now, learning about it. I knew nothing of person.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's great. The video package I thought was really cool. I'll send it to you so you can watch it offline. I mean, you know how they put together their video packages. They're just, I could watch nothing but their video packages all day. Like you could exit out the match itself. I mean that includes Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels at Mania. The video packages leading up to it and afterwards, I'm fine. I don't even need to see the match. I don't care. Those video packages are so good. You know. Justin does say Satomura is such a fantastic signing. NXT has the greatest women's division in wrestling, and that includes NXT UK. Gramper says, so what you're saying is NXT UK is going to be like GameStop very soon. That's right. It's going to be huge, and no one's there. Can't stop GameStop.
Okay. Oh, dude, did you...
What?
Happening?
Go ahead, start over.
Stock...
You froze.
Oh, the stock imploded today for GameStop.
Yeah, I know.
No, that was, I mean, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh no.
There was a good time it was to ride it, and I felt bad. I didn't see it right before it happened. So by the time I was reading about it, and I was like, taking time bomb. This is like a get in, get out, and make $10 if you can. Like they're gonna put a stop to this one fast.
The whole goal of it, like the whole hedge funds that
All right, Klump, we can't hear you. You froze again.
His
Yeah,
connection's
Klump froze.
frozen.
No, I mean I can hear Amanda. So
Yeah. Yeah, Klump, you're all frozen. Maybe restart something or check your internet.
but yeah, we get the analogy.
Yep. So yeah, I'll send him that video. Klump's gonna probably click around and figure out what's going on and come right back, I'm sure. Let me know if he jumps out. He's still frozen. Yeah,
Oh, he's
gonna
gone.
probably restart it. So, well, let's get into AEW. Unless there's anything otherwise news wise that you thought we were missing.
Well, since we're going to talk about AEW, I guess they released some of the figures that are coming out.
Yeah.
So Cody has 1 billion of them that are coming out that are all these limited edition things. I don't understand why, but
Yeah, he's got another
whatever.
2. He already had 3.
No, there was one photo that leaked
Oh,
and
no,
Britt
no.
Baker had put it out, and it was the ones with the different colored pants.
No. You
And then
got
there was
worked. It's
like-
totally fine. Britt Baker put that out as a
fake?
joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
a fake
okay.
one. The joke
I was like-
was this is like Cody's 5th or 6th figure, and Britt Baker hasn't had one, and you're on Series 5 already.
Oh,
So the
got
joke
it.
was, is the next series only Cody? I mean,
Oh, okay.
not to defend Cody, but Young Bucks have already got 2 figures. Kenny Omega
Kenny-
had 2 with the Chase, and now he's got another 3rd. But Cody still had more than all of them because all of his have a Chased, and he was in that 2-pack that was also a special edition. So it's like, come on. And I've been saying that on every one of these is like, why is it taking? Why are you doing the first time I saw this, the second series and it had Young Bucks again? Was that series 3? I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you have another Kenny or Young Bucks before you've had some of your homegrown? Here's the other thing that upset me about the new series is it had Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy looking almost identical to the last WWE figure he had before he left, the WrestleMania one. And the one he had before he left also came with Vanguard. So now you have another Vanguard toy out there of his fucking drone. Why? Does Matt Hardy need another figure? Is it impossible to get a Matt Hardy figure? Why don't we have a Britt Baker or a Nyla Rose?
Or their champ.
Or Sheeta. Yeah, or Serena Deeb. Like, make some
Thunder Rosa.
homegrown talent. Thunder Rosa is not with AEW.
Well, I
would
know,
love
but
if they
eventually they're going to give
Yeah.
it to her. They'll give her a damn doll. Eventually, they all are gonna do something. I mean,
They're
come
not
on.
dolls.
It
With
feels
NWA, what's going on? Nothing.
oh,
Go ahead, Clark.
it feels like so, and the way that they're structuring their series, this feels so much like it's aimed at the marquees to marks. Like, oh yeah, no, people only care about these guys, so we got to do this. And to an extent, I can get like, you know, every series of WWE action figures at a certain period might contain Stone Cold or The Rock or, you know, these top guys, but also they'd have other people, and it feels like they're like 3 of the 6 that they're having have to be this person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
100%.
yeah, just do some more differences. Like, I'm looking at Series 4, and it's like, oh, cool, you have Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. Okay, but what
Hager
about
doesn't have one.
yeah? What about
Yeah.
Butcher and the Blade? What about
The
you know?
Bunny.
Wardlow.
What about Kingston?
Yeah.
like-
yeah, Kingston. Oh my God, a Kingston figure would be killer right now.
Mhm.
And so
like,
would a fashion figure Ricky Starks.
Oh,
I'm making
like
him
Cage.
clothing. I'm gonna sell that to people. So when his figure comes out, there's gonna be clothing
mhm.
because no one thought about that one. He has
Grim
changeable
Reaper brings
outfit.
up a really good point. Sting needs one, and I agree with that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he'll get one.
They should,
He'll get one
dude.
before Britt
They should
Baker.
do a whole Legends series, and it'd be like Arn and
Arn,
Tully and
Tully.
Jake,
and
and they're all
Taz.
blown up and looking crazy. Taz in a big old
They
sweater and a
all-
low hat.
They
Yeah.
all look like the Kevin Owens like WWE figure, where it's just like giant arms, kind of a belly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I'm knocking KO. KO's amazing, but that always makes me giggle. It's like, come on.
Oh yeah. They give him like Ultimate Warrior arms, and they give him the belly, and you're like, okay, he's a big dude, but at the same time, like when he picks up something heavy, you can see his arms just like go. But at the same time, you're right. He's not cut like Ciampa. His arms are not Ciampa arms. So yeah, that stuff makes me laugh too.
Hey, question.
Klump, I want to know
So
your
are they
real
doing-
quick.
Yeah.
Let me ask Klump this
Amanda?
question real quick.
Oh.
Amanda, write that down. Don't lose your thought, because I want to know what
Okay.
Klump thinks about this, because growing up, how I grew up and where, I didn't know how I felt about this necessarily, and it's something we'd sort of talked about before. What do you think about the I don't know if it was Santana or Ortiz, I don't remember which one had it, but one of them's holding up a sandal in the packaging. It says chancla to swat someone with.
They call it chancleta because they're Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And it's,
Oh,
yeah.
I call it chancla because of Mexico.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
Chanclita.
No, you call
What
it
did you-
chancla because that's correct. But
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's
How
true.
do I feel
Actually, in New
about it?
York, the Puerto Ricans were calling taquitos flautas, and then we got into a whole argument one time. But I'm
'cause
half
that-
Mexican. That's the only reason I'm familiar with the Mexican culture on that level. And being so close to Mexico, I've been a bunch of times. I'm not trying to say like anybody's right or wrong. I feel like whatever you call your food is fine by me. But Klump, how did you feel about this? Because I looked at it and was like, yeah, it's a little weird, but I could be way off and wrong.
I'm up to two minds to it. Like part of it, like I do find it funny, like
Yeah.
when I find it awesome when kind of parts. It's a meme of the moment, and yeah, it's a meme of like culture that brings it up. Like it's something that it's a big part of several Latin cultures. It's
True.
I don't know what it is, but it's like whether it's Puerto Rican or Mexican or Dominican, like you have a form of the chancla come up pertaining to like that, pertaining to like the mother figure, and that's I get that, that's cool.
Yeah.
But then part of me also, I'm of a mind where I get kind of like cautious because
Representation.
yes, what is the representation here? What is the meaning of it? And who threw it out? Was it Santana and Ortiz throwing it out, or was it like, was it like somebody who has no connection to the culture or the meaning of it? Oh yeah, that was a funny moment. And I see a lot of this on Reddit where it's like like in Latino people Twitter where it's like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get cautious. I don't think it's bad, but it really rides the line where I could see somebody being like weird about it.
I get you. You know what I think where it came from for me? Why at first I looked at it and I was like, nah, I don't know about that. Was just because I think even when they were doing that and when they were doing the stuff with the 40s and the sock with the tennis balls in it, which by the way, the other one comes with a sock with tennis balls in it. It felt to me like this is like the only representation you have of Latinos at the time, and I was like, I don't think I like that. This is the representation that they're getting. But at the same time, at this point, we have more. We've got Eddie Kingston, we've got Thunder Rosa. Like where it is better filled out in that way with Ivelisse and Diamante. Although they don't get a ton of time, it is a better representation of the time of the moment. I think that's probably where it stems from me. In that moment, I was like, this is like you're only Hispanics, and this is a little weird that you're making them this level cartoonish. However, like you said, if it's their own idea and they're doing it because they think it's funny, well, then it is what it is. Maybe that's all it was for me. Go ahead.
No, you're not wrong, and I think that's a unique kind of conversation to have with how we represent, how people represent themselves in like the culture that they want to represent, the world that they grew up in, the expression of that, because that can be to a lot of it can be very much who's saying it in what way. Is it being owned or is it somebody throwing it out? Like it's it's the utilization of terminology. Is this in a sense, is it blackface by you know what I mean? Is it if it's not coming from somebody who's part of the culture, who this is their own thing, but if it's somebody like who's not part of the culture saying, oh yeah, that's totally part of it, that sounds weird. It sounds like somebody throwing a voice to that. I'd
like to think that it's them coming up with it, so I'll give them that.
Yes.
Is I do believe that it comes from their own mind, and I think that's to be appreciated. But
no,
that was
in
just my hesitation. Go ahead.
No, in the case of Santana and Ortiz, I think so. But I get the idea of where there could be caution or pause, because I could see. I think in other situations, like I could see this not being that and being like, ooh, You know, like I feel weird about this. You know,
Yeah, like if that was a Fortnite character and that was their weapon, people
Yes.
might go, "What are you doing?"
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
If this is like we're gonna introduce this character as this, and that's all they are. It's like, okay, that's a bit weird. You know, like
Yeah, context is key, and I say that a lot about a lot of things. To be honest, context I think is a lot more important than the details. So I think that in this case, for sure, I was probably being overly sensitive for no good reason, and I'm glad you talked me through it.
Actually, I think on BTE, because you know how they had for a while, they were doing with like Marvez and someone else in Santana and Ortiz, and you know, basically any of anybody who spoke Spanish was the little Spanglish conversations. And if I'm not mistaken, I think someone got hit with a chancla. And that's probably where it came from. Because I don't think it was in any match, but I was thinking about that because I remembered seeing a chancla as part of one of them, and I just kind of snorted because I thought it was funny, but you know.
Well,
I think they came out for a promo with one too.
Yes,
Yeah.
when they first were doing like the Inner Circle promo with Jericho, they were giving Jericho like a bunch of gifts, and one of the gifts they gave him was the chancleta. And I was like, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was when they were doing all the stuff. They gave him like government cheese and stuff, and it was like, yeah, it was the whole thing where I was like, I don't like this.
Nice, but that's
Like
great.
I feel very awkward and white laughing at this.
Yeah, right? Like, God.
I'm yellow and I'm laughing at it. I shouldn't be laughing at it, but no. I mean, but
Well, I mean, I'm half Mexican, and we had our issues, but I also am very much aware of my name being a strong European name, and my skin tone being that of very, very much of the European side, that I totally can get and appreciate the concept of the privilege thereof. And so I definitely don't want to like speak on behalf of someone else either. But there is that moment where I go, I don't love it.
Yeah.
You know? What's up?
Well, to me, like I grew up in Nogales, Arizona. I grew up going to Mexico all the time. My first language is Spanish. And it's always something I'm very cautious about, because like if you ask me questions about like about growing up in, like, I align more with a lot of components of, you know, Mexican culture than I do, you know, I'm more familiar with that. But then I also am very familiar and very aware of like my appearances and by just my family. I'm very cautious about like, that's awesome, and jumping into it, because I also know I have a very unique experience, and I don't want to be the guy who's like, that's funny because they're like that, or the kid who likes hip hop music for certain words being used, and I'm like, that's not great.
Yeah, no. I'm only one generation removed from Mexico. Both my mother's parents were born and raised in Mexico, and they both made it to America, and one not even legally. So I'm not too far removed from being exposed to a ton of that culture in itself. But yeah, I agree, because I feel like the same thing where it's all like, okay, I can't speak on behalf of a culture like that. At the same time, it does make me kind of like side eye at times, like, are you guys being right to everybody? You know what I mean?
Yes.
No, they're
so
not.
maybe it's like I get overly protective is what it is, of a side that I think people wouldn't understand why you and I might, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Same.
And they're not being the same, because JR still calls Asian people Orientals. He hasn't said it in a while. But please. I'm not a ramen or a rug. Okay?
I had a teacher who got super mad, and I explained that to us. He says, I'm not a fucking rug. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not a rug.
Shit.
You're like, I do see that part.
Yeah.
I'm not a train that had a murder on it somewhere in like Mongolia or whatever. You know, I mean, come on.
Did you ever see the 90s show? Or was that movie? It was called like That 90s Movie or something like that. Totally 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of that one, because the main character is a white guy who's being trained like Karate Kid. And it's like by a Pat Morita type character. and he's like giving this like thankful speech at the end, and he goes, "My Oriental sensei," and he's like Asian, and like he just keeps saying it, and the guy's just behind the whole time saying like Asian, just like right off mic, and like no matter what he keeps repeating it, and he keeps repeating back Asian, and I always think of that as like this like, I mean it's a funny gag, but at the same time it's like, yeah, it's that important to stop saying that.
Yes.
You know.
Now, my thing is this. I'm going to make this statement on this. Okay, my birth certificate, it does say, because I'm old as dirt. It does say Oriental is my ethnicity.
Oh,
but
wow.
I must say, in this world of political correctness, and they're changing the Jungle Cruise now at Disney. You know what, people? You can stop saying Oriental. And that's all I got to say. You can change my theme park rides, but if you can't change the Oriental thing, come on.
Yeah.
That's the least. It's the least we could do.
Believe
Not
me.
be verbally offensive.
Yeah. Now, you can ask me, well, there's Oriental wrestling that Chima and, Strong Hearts come from. Well, that's a little different. I don't like it nonetheless, but it's a little different.
That's interesting. Because I always thought of it as like a style, the same way that there's the
flavor
like the
of
food
ramen.
flavor.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like a generalized overtone of like product out of, and that wrestling could fall into that concept of like the style that comes out of. But I can definitely, obviously, clearly appreciate the dislike for it, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Same.
Go
like,
ahead, Klump. Say what you're gonna say, and then we'll get into the thing.
Well, no, I was gonna say the same thing. Is I always like viewed it as like it's like an architectural, like it's a description of an object, so I could see that for the wrestling organization. But then, like it's also it really goes back to a lot of like, to me, I always saw it as it's kind of it's messed up because it always goes back to like it's a term applied to a group of people without their consent of it. Like this is what we designated these people, but then also like it also kind of just puts a very, very large group of people into you are this, whereas that somebody might be like if somebody there's a lot of differentiation that could occur there, and it's like it's
well, it makes a human sound like an export.
Yes, exactly.
That's probably dehumanizing at best, right?
Yes.
So
you're better at words than I am. Thank you. Awkward.
Klump,
white.
that's why we do it. That's why we do this. Because you're gonna ramble until I stop you.
Thank you.
I go, I speak Klump. I know what he's trying to say.
There you go. Yeah, my question's really quick before we move on.
Go ahead.
Are they doing more of those 2-packs? Because I was really hoping to get a Chuck Taylor and Trent hugging each other.
So that being your example is why I'm refusing to even entertain this conversation. Moving on. No, just
Damn!
I don't know. I hope they do. I actually was hoping this, like the 2 new Young Buck ones that they wanted to make. I thought that should have been their first 2-pack. I mean, the Blood Brothers obviously was the first 2-pack. I still think I need to buy that. I think it's out there for not more expensive than it came from, and I think I want that. That's probably the best AEW toy that'll ever be made.
It's a cool one.
You know what? I just realized I didn't get it. I thought it was an easy gift, and I didn't want to accidentally get it and then have someone give it to me, and I didn't get it, so I just got to go buy it. Because I was just like, well, it's an easy one, because obviously I think it's awesome. But at the same time, it's also obviously something I would buy for myself. So, so of course, no one's going to be like, oh, I'll get him that. They're all like, oh, he already has it. So I'm not, it's not sour grapes here,
Yeah, because there's good, 2-packs. Like if they want to do another Blood and Guts, they could do Darby and Ricky with Darby on the skateboard.
Oh, that'd be weird, but yeah,
His
they could
back
do
was
that.
pretty shredded. Yeah, just stuff like that. But I didn't know if they were making more of those. So
I think they should. I think the Young Bucks, the second series or the second version of the Young Bucks, should not have been singles packs. It should have been their first 2-pack. Should have been and the Young Bucks, and it could be the only one in its series. But they should have tag team ones. To be honest, if the new set has Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, make it a 2-pack. Because the thing is you're a young company, and a lot of your talent have never had a figure. So take advantage of that. You also have a ton of tag teams.
Yeah.
Tito and Santana could have been. Maybe you give special treatment to something like the Inner Circle because of what that faction means to the company in and of itself. But for a Jungle Boy and a Luchasaurus who aren't coming with much of anything, make them a 2-pack. Young Bucks who have a different gear than they had on the first one, make it a 2-pack. You know what I mean? Grab a couple of them and just do that. Butcher and Blade, make them a 2-pack. They're not going to have a ton of accessories. Just do it. You know? So I agree. Then they could do a best friends where they're actually hugging and maybe have a Orange Cassidy picture in the background or something. Like, you could do that. I'm okay with all that. So I hope they do, I guess is my answer. But the other answer being, like, I don't believe any other 2-packs have been announced. Guys, let's do it. Let's run through this. I don't think we need to hit this one segment by segment like we always do. Let's hit up some high stuff. I had a hell of a time watching Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer. Almost that entire match was blacked out on our cable feed. Was it on your replay, Klump, or did you watch it live, or how did you guys even?
It was on my replay. So I watched it last night, and I got like the second half of Dynamite. I watched the rest of it today, and it was on, which is good. And Tony Khan did tweet out, "Hey, it was bad," and he got it corrected, which is cool. Or they
put it on their
corrected
YouTube.
it. Yeah, so it's cool. And it was a good match. I liked it.
Okay. Did Kingston get a mic?
I don't recall.
Then he must not have. There's no way he would talk and you wouldn't remember. Amanda, did you get to see this match, or was it a problematic for you?
It was problematic. I saw it. It went out like maybe a minute into the match for me, and then it was gone for a couple of minutes, and then it came back, and I could see the rest of it. So I don't think I missed too much, but I don't remember Eddie having the mic.
Yeah,
I don't
so
think he did, which is kind of a wasted moment. But yeah.
And I only caught the finish of it, which I do want to. I'm going to throw this out here. Justin did say in the chat, at least this Dynamite was leagues better than last week, and I'll agree to that 100%. This was 1,000 times better than the last episode. Some people were all like, "How was every single episode the best episode ever?" Like, you only feel that way because last week's was so bad. Relax.
Oh, yeah.
And that's also what you want. You want every new episode to be the best episode you've ever done. You don't want to look back and say, "Oh, our best year was 20 years ago. Our best episode was the second one." You know what I mean? You want to. That's why we're always on the first one, because we know we're not getting better. So, I agree. This one was way better. This was actually enjoyable. There was as much silly and dumb shit was happening that was making me go, whatever, you indie little turds. At the same time, I was having fun for the most part. Nothing like made me like actually upset like last week. I didn't feel embarrassed watching it this week at all. Last week there was definitely a bunch of times where I was like, this is why people make fun of us. Jericho's an embarrassment in general. But
Yeah.
but this match, so without going through the whole match because it was what it was, I didn't feel great about Kingston getting the pin over Lance Archer, only because Lance Archer has been booked like a monster, right? He's the Murder Hawk. And Eddie Kingston, like it or not, spits a ton of fire, but never gets the job done. The dude is a loser in the ring as far as AEW booking is concerned. He constantly speaks such a believable game that you're like, oh, someone's getting stabbed to death, but he almost never gets the win. We don't see it on TV, at least. If he's getting the wins, they're on dark, and it doesn't count. So I thought it was a little weird that they would give the win to Eddie here and make Lance look weaker then, especially when we saw him take on, like 7 or 8 dudes in his intro? You know what I mean? The guy's like been murdering people after. They call him Murder Hawk.
Yeah.
I wonder, because this was such a weird kind of sore thumb look to me, do you think they're building up to Lance Archer needing a tag partner, and therein lies the intro to Harry Smith?
I don't know. And I'll say that in a big thing, but I didn't like how they made now Archer just looks like a bitch. I mean, I didn't like that. I mean, it's like, dude, the guy is huge, and and he's been a monster, and now it's like, oh, okay, him and Jake, because
and
Jake
Eddie
and his
cheated to
weirdness.
win.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, okay, and now next week we're getting that match again, but it's a lumberjack, and it's like, oh God, really? Do we,
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know. Like with Harry Smith, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I would love to see Killer Elite Squad again. I mean, they were amazing when they were in Japan, like Noah and, and New Japan. They were amazing together, and I don't know. I would love to see it, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Klump, what do you think? You think they're building towards something like that?
I hope so. I agree. I would like to see, that happen. But I don't know, and it feels kind of predictable in wrestling overall, but in AEW a lot, where we're gonna make you look like shit and bring somebody in. Why not have somebody look good and then have somebody else come in and say, "Oh, and we're gonna be stronger," Or
That's a good
you,
point.
yeah, like have him kind of beat Eddie, and then it'll be okay. Well, it's gonna be me and I don't know, one of these fuckers against you, and then Archer, and he goes, "And what are you gonna have? Just Jake?" And then Archer goes, "No, I got a buddy," and then boom, Harry Smith. It's just something different.
That's true. That'd be nice, a little different. And so instead of being like, "Oh, since you keep getting your ass handed to you, go find yourself some help," as opposed to being like, "Not only can I kick your ass, but me and one friend can kick all of yours asses."
He's scary.
Yeah, and he looks huge. Well, he is huge. He's scary.
Yeah.
Still bitter about the hair, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I had to say about that. I didn't have a problem with it outside of that, as far as like if it goes the right direction, if it brings in Harry Smith, and I'm like totally down. And I thought it was just a little weird because I mean maybe it's because they wanted to give a good win to Kingston because he is so believable on the mic, but he hasn't been built up well enough. But the idea of him using the brass knuckles can make him start looking desperate, which a desperate violent man can go to desperate measures to start getting those wins. So that kind of works in that regard too. So not 100% against it. Let's see, Jericho and MJF against the Varsity Blondes. I'm gonna breeze past this one real quick. This whole match. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Varsity Blondes. Okay, I don't know who decided to put these two together, but it just works. So kudos to whoever put it together because it works.
Yes, Garrison should change his haircut.
He needs a mullet.
God, I hate every mullet. I felt like this entire match from the beginning was designed and designated in every way, and I felt it leading up to it, and then it happened. I was like, oh, this whole thing is to save Jericho so he doesn't get too gassed, so he can do the lion salt at the end for the win and actually pull it off, because they did everything they could to protect Jericho, to keep it slow, to keep him out of it, so he could save up all of his energy to do the one thing. And that's exactly what happened. He does it. He has this shit-eating grin on his face. He's staring right in the camera. This dude's self-obsession is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And then within a minute of him being off screen, I saw him tweeting. He was already tweeting, being like, "How about that one? Oh, how did that one look? I've never lost it." And you're like, "You are an embarrassment, dude."
It looked, and so I saw this match. I really saw in that last segment when Jericho's in it, and I was kind of just disappointed in him. The Varsity Blondes look fantastic. Brian Pillman Jr. looked great, but then there's a spot where Brian Pillman Jr. is going, and I think Jericho knocks him out of the ring, and there's this weird miss. And it just looked so fucking bad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like it just, and I kept comparing that to, NXT, where theoretically, we have these people coming in who are fairly new to wrestling in some cases, and they don't have these misses. And the person who's fucking up has been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah. Amanda, are you still there?
I am here.
Okay. Klump, your audio cut out for me. I was
think
just
he's
verifying it
frozen
wasn't my
again.
headphone. I think you froze up. Justin did say in the chat, Jericho's at the point where he's just trying to show off and it's doing nothing in the end. And that's really what it comes down to. The dude is so self-obsessed, and this isn't like a heel character. This isn't getting worked. You can see it in his face if you've ever known someone who is like truly narcissistic, and the idea of how much they need that outward love as a feeling of personal worth. It's like all over him and everything he says and does, and it's just hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch someone who could have gone down with such a legendary career just dissolve into this dude begging for likes and smiles. So I don't want to give him too much time. I know that him and Cornette like to go back and forth with their shit talk. So if there's anything you want to say about that other than it was exactly what it looked like, we can go on to the next thing.
The only thing I wanted to say was I just think that, the whole Judas entrance is getting stale. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't want to see people who are trying, like what you had said to me, Marsh, yesterday. People are, brown nosing so they can get airtime or whatever, or, get a match. Yeah. And I mean, they don't show fans anymore. And someone was like, oh, that's not true. I go, when was the last time they showed people in the crowd?
Yes.
Well, when it first started, like the first couple of weeks, and then it became about the talent and whatnot.
I want to throw that out real quick too. Is every time Jericho comes out, I want to turn it off because I know it's gonna be this weird series of shots of both faces and heels singing, why are the good guys singing too? And it's I don't like the song. Like to start, like I straight don't like the song. The song annoys me, but it's such a weird thing to continue on. If you want to make something a moment, let it come into its own, and they're not letting that happen. Instead, they're making it happen, and it feels so forced and stale. It's the biggest thing. Like with this, and you guys talking about narcissism with Jericho, I watch him come out, and I'm like, kudos to you to convince someone that you are, bigger than anyone in wrestling ever, but you're not.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I don't have anything to say on that other way. I mean, 100%. It's just this big, weird, begging everyone to please love me, and it's like awkward.
And he always has that smug look on his face.
God,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he gets frustrated when they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it's all hired hands at this point.
Yeah.
Also, every time I see him come out, and it's easy to make the jokes that he's gotten a bit bigger, he's gotten out of shape. It's honestly getting to the point of being concerning when you look at him in his like WWE runner when he came out on that press conference for AEW versus now. He looks like he's aged 15-20 years in two.
Yeah. Like he's gotten a lot of work. The other thing is that he does keep posting on social media him with like he posted a picture of him shirtless again, flexing and sucking in his gut as good as he could, and said, "Oh, the lighting in this closet's really good." But I mean, I could tell you as a dude who, I mean, I'm bigger now, but there was a time I fit into a small T-shirt, and I ran 3 miles a day. I hit the gym 3 days a week, and it wasn't 3 miles. Yeah, 3 miles a day every day, and then once a month I was hitting 6. I was down. I was in good shape, but I also had this out of shape athlete look about me because I'm just always been big. So even then, if I sucked it in and got the right light, I had a 6-pack for sure. But it took a while for me to get those pictures just right. So I see him do that stuff and I go, oh yeah, I remember doing that. When I look like an out of shape athlete. Now I just look like an out of shape beanbag chair. So it's a little different. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you guys remember the movie Flubber.
Yes.
So you know how how they do the Green Man thing in Always Sunny, where you put on that like skin tight Green Man suit? I'm gonna get one of those and just be Flubber. It will be fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think he's just. I mean, you get the locker room and there's all these young guys who are totally like fit and ripped, and
whoa, it's AEW.
Well, yeah. I mean, there must be pressure, I'm not fat shaming him or anything or shaming him, or anything. But, you know, if I saw that, I'd be all, whoa, because at least like with the women's division, there's different shapes and sizes. The men, it's either you look like, you know, you're either like a scale from Brian Cage to, you know, I don't know. The one who
Marco
sticks
Stunt.
out like a sore thumb, like, or people like Marco Stunt, you know, Fuego del Sol kind of sticks out, you know, the ones that don't look very in shape. Yeah.
Luther.
And then Jericho. But then everybody else, it's like, God, you guys got bodies like Greek gods or whatever, you know. So I would have a complex, but I don't know.
Well, and he also doesn't have to dress. And again, I'm trying so hard not to just be a dick and fat shame, because I'm a big guy too. But he doesn't have to put himself out and dress like this. He can, like, he'd be cool coming out in a band shirt and jeans. Like, I've said that over and over. It's he pushes himself to present this way, and it just doesn't work. And you can, it just adds to, like, if you're gonna do what you're doing, you gotta back it up, because people are gonna notice it, and you never back it up. You look winded, you look faded, you look, you know, like you're having a hard life and it's hitting you. And you know,
NBA fans said it best. Justin does say in the chat, though, everyone's thinking his theme is getting stale, so he agrees with that. Let's talk real quick about Cody Rhodes and Shaq. They're setting up for a match. I love this because all the fans online can't admit when something's not going to go their way. So as soon as Shaq was doing stuff, like, yeah, but they're going to use him right. Yeah, but he's not going to be in a match. Yeah, this isn't going to happen. This is definitely leading up towards a match, right? Because Shaq literally said, I'll face you in March at their pay-per-view.
You know, we could do it in March. Was the phrase.
And now Red Velvet's going to join, so it may be a mixed tag intergender thing. Klump, how much do you love this?
I'm excited for it. I'm curious to see it goes. I think they picked the right person. I think it could be fun. You know, it's gonna not be serious, and that's fine. You know, I think Cody's a good enough worker. He'll make it work well. So we'll see. You know.
Yeah, I think here's the deal. I think Cody's gonna make something out of it. I think it's gonna be an entertaining bit. I love all the dumb fans online not realizing when they're getting worked and be like, oh, yeah, but I know Tony. They all think they know Tony better than anybody else. He would never. Remember what they said as soon as Sting came out? Yeah, but he's not wrestling. Oh, but he's never going to wrestle. Here's the deal. He's not here to wrestle. What's coming up? He's got a wrestling match. So now they're saying, oh, but it's going to be cinematic. Oh, well, but it was definitely not going to be a match. They're trying to constantly assert something you just don't know. Like you said, Klump, this could be good and entertaining and exciting, but you also got to let it breathe. Don't tell us what it's going to be just because you're wildly guessing. Just accept it what it is. Looks like Shaq and Cody are building towards something. Let's see what they build towards. Instead of just outwardly being aggressive online and saying, this is how Tony Khan is. Like, you know the guy. I don't know him.
Yeah.
Right? Am I way off?
No. I agree.
Not at all.
I mean, that was my gripe about it, is that I agree with Klump. This is probably going to be entertaining, and the thing that's ruining it is the fans trying to pretend they know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Bishop in the chat real quick does say Jericho in the ring and the Charlotte style love is why I have a hard time tuning into AEW. Yeah. Anything, Amanda, you want to say about Shaq and Cody?
One thing, there was the commentary line of the night came out of this match after Red Velvet came out. And this was from JR. And I don't know how many people caught it, but I caught it and I died laughing. Then the quote was, she said, bitch ass. That means she's serious in regards to Red Velvet. I thought that was the best line because it was kind of under his breath. I don't know if it was supposed to be there, but it was just great timing. And I just thought, man, this is quality commentary.
JR, you make up for a lot of what you did wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
cracks me up every week.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you weren't drunk.
I mean, that's part of
then.
the whole thing. I had somebody who was trying to convince me that AEW is an edgy product and that's why they like it because it's more adult and edgy. And I was like, how is it edgy or adult like? And they just kept saying, well, because I like it. And it's like, okay, I get that you like it. I'm not saying don't like it. I'm just saying I don't understand where you're coming from that it's edgy. What it came down to was more or less like, yeah, they'll say things like bitch ass. That's adult and edgy to you, and like, no. And then the idea that in this promo coming up here, Moxley says, "I like to have sex in the morning. Good way to start the day."
Need to know that. We do not need to know that. Okay.
Guess what?
Sorry.
I'm an adult. I don't get thrilled when someone says they had sex. That doesn't just change my whole view of the product. I'm like, okay,
the women
fine.
demographic loved it. I was like, why is this here? I don't want to know. You know, I don't. Yeah. I don't.
It's
obviously he has
but it's
sex.
edgy.
His wife is pregnant. You know,
right?
Come on, people.
No one's doubting you, Mox.
No one's doubting you, man. I've heard stories about you too, man.
Yeah. But I mean, so I get a pop out of stuff like that, or I get a kick out of the things when like Jim Ross is like, he said bitch ass, so you know they're serious. He's verbally rolling his eyes like, oh, that's where we're serious.
And it was hilarious because I don't think anybody on the commentary table heard it. That was the thing. It was great because I know if Excalibur had heard it, he would have said something. So I just thought it was great, just the timing of it, because then things switched around. But I really hope that if anything with this match is they introduce Jade Cargill well, because they're kind of, to me, hit and miss when they have someone a female debuting. For sure.
Justin in the chat does say, I've been all out on Cody and Shaq for months now. It's just a lame story. I don't disagree with that. I think it's absolutely a lame story, and I think that bringing in Shaq was goofy, and I think it's silly, and I do think that it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is one of those moments that is a typical WWE Monday Night Raw type deal, where you're like, oh, Jon Stewart's going to affect the end of the match. Jon Stewart attacks John Cena with a chair. Like, this is that kind of goofy shit. This is the Sheamus is a cousin to a Muppet. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I didn't see it and go, oh, this is an edgy product where they do things differently. No, this guy's plugging his Icy Hot, his Kellogg cereal, and his Papa John's pizza, and he's doing it in an AEW shirt. I'm okay with it, though. I agree. Well, I think it's lame, but I agree. I agree with Klump, though. The potential is there for the segment to be good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it's probably because, obviously, TNT has the NBA deal, and he's one of the dudes, So that's probably what it is, more so than anything, that they hope that maybe the NBA audience might tune into AEW.
That didn't work out for them.
There. Yeah.
That didn't work out for them last time.
No, I know.
Jericho's hoping that you're wrong.
Yeah, Jericho's like, I hope not.
I hope not.
Let's see. Hangman Page versus Ryan Nemeth. To me, this match was rather disappointing. I kind of was expecting more out of Ryan, but I think that's has to do with his name and not him. He seemed really green to me, and I felt like this should have been a Dynamite match. But the whole thing was really there just to put Matt Hardy next to Hangman Page. Am I way off on this one? Did you guys like it? But we only need to take a minute on it because I want to move on to the next thing.
Okay, yeah, no. I mean, I've seen Ryan Nemeth wrestle before, and honestly, there's a reason why his brother is where he is and where Ryan Nemeth is where he is. So
is he kind of a parody of his own brother? He was doing a lot of the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, he kind of is. He kind of is.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's the the fuck is Bill Clinton's brother's name?
Oh, I don't remember his name. But
are you talking about?
Okay.
Are you talking about Frank Stallone?
No, Roger Clinton. He's the Roger Clinton of the yeah.
Yeah, Frank
Stallone.
Frank Stallone. Yeah. That's his role.
Yeah, my brother's famous.
Yeah. So I wasn't totally off on that. You felt the same way, Klump?
A little bit. Like I wanted to make a joke of like he's so bad that they won't let him use Ziggler.
Yeah. Can you imagine how it comes out? I'm Hollywood Ziggler.
Yeah. I'm Malt Bigler. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolf Bigler.
I wouldn't have been shocked if they'd gone with Ryan Ziggs. That wouldn't have shocked me. But okay, so I was just wondering. I mean, it was what it was. Do you think? I mean, I felt like this. I did want to talk to Amanda about this one real briefly. Matt Hardy coming out and trying to manipulate Hangman Page did make me a little bit worried that maybe they're actually building away from the idea of a villain return.
No, they're heading toward it because
she's like, get your head out of your ass.
No, I think that this, for me, it really kind of solidified it because, with Matt Hardy coming out and just, I'm just
someone's gonna have
doing
to
it.
save him from Matt Hardy.
Someone has to, who's going to be whatever. Like, needs a voice of reason. Like, he needs that. What the fuck are you doing, man? And I think the only person that can do that is Marty Scurll. Sorry, I mean, that too bad. You don't like what he did, too bad. It's gonna happen because it's feeding that way. Because, I mean, where is he gonna go? He's not part of this Bullet Club thing. Obviously, he's not in the Elite anymore. He's not gonna be Nightmare Family. Come on. And I don't think Team Taz is going to be knocking on his door. He's too pretty. And then Ricky would be upset because they don't need two pretty people. So, I mean, where does he go? So I think that that's where it's leading to. Now, when would we see him? I don't know. Maybe like one of the next, not Revolution, but something that's pretty major. Because after Revolution, I don't know what they're going to do. So,
do you think Revolution's too soon or not soon enough?
I think it's too soon.
Okay,
because you have to see.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got to see how. Yeah, you got to see how it's going to play out with Matt Hardy, and things like that. And remember, they've got $1 billion into other storylines and things that are more important than Hangman Page and Matt Hardy.
Like Miro.
Yeah, the wedding. That's so important. And yeah.
We can talk about it because you brought up Ricky, and then I do want to talk about the Dax and Jungle Boy match. I think a little bit.
Oh yes.
But the Ricky and Taz and Sting and Darby. What do you think of all that business? It felt to me. I mean, I think it's fine, but I wasn't like people were gushing over it like this was some sort of revolutionary. This is how you use Sting. I saw, and I was like, this was Sting being. What? It was fine. It was fine. They're moving towards it. Relax. This isn't the best Sting we've ever seen, first off. Secondly, Sting couldn't break a window with a bat. Thirdly...
Great sugar glass windows you guys have. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Production quality. Awesome.
It's like, it's fine, guys. It's fine. We're moving, but relax.
The asshole that made the King of the Ring glass also got a new job.
Yeah. He's like, I'm really good at making wrestling glass.
I can't break this with fucking Shane McMahon's head.
Did you think the dart into the side of the truck was absolutely like, we can do that thing like the NWO did? Because that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Because that was 100% exactly what Kevin Nash did to Rey Mysterio, but Brian Cage did it with some little dude. I was like, we could do it.
Yeah. I don't, I think both of them were too unnecessary. I didn't need Darby and whatever talking about hoodlums and all this stuff. Like I really didn't, and it doesn't progress anything, to be quite honest. And then I did not need a bunch of dudes like, having a fit because they don't sell their merch. Let's go there. Most of the roster, they're not selling their merch unless you're a Young Buck, you're Chris Jericho, you're Sting, Cody, Matt Hardy.
Yeah, Cody's got 5 toys.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. So, pick a number. So, and I mean, Brian Cage, it's like, dude, you have better shirts on your Pro Wrestling Tees store than probably your AEW one. And like Ricky's shirts that he used to design are much better than his 2 that he has. Mm-hmm. Will Hobbs didn't have it. I think Will had I can't remember. He did have a shirt because he was supposed to give me one. But anyways, point being, it wasn't really necessary. But it was really cool to see that Hook, that dude's got potential. I'm waiting for him to go and get in the ring. When is he going to get?
He's got a clean suplex.
He does. It's like, when are you getting in the ring? That's what I want to see. But I think they're going the cinematic route. That's why you're seeing this style of promo, but they could have done something a little edgier, because I think Darby had some pretty good edgy black and white promos, like earlier this last year. that were great. This is just like, yeah.
I hope to God they let Darby direct the match. They make it cinematic. They let him use his little 8mm camcorder, and he does all the editing and directing himself. I hope to God that's what happens.
No, I
can't
wish.
wait.
No.
I'll poop in protest.
Kevlar on the Rocks has joined us in the chat. What's up? Cheers to Kevlar. Rest in peace. He's not here today.
Kevin died?
No.
Kevin, no!
He said it's because AEW is a clothing company. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
The reason Team Taz is so pissed they're not selling shirts is because that's the primary function of this company.
Yeah. You don't, Excalibur doesn't plug your shirts on Dynamite hard enough, Taz. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the big thing because we booked a fucking amusement park so hard we've run out of time to even before we get into stuff. Dax versus Jungle Boy. I tweeted out, this reminded me, especially in the beginning, a lot of Brett versus 123 Kid, and I don't think that was an accident because I know that's Dax's favorite wrestler. He liked the tweet, so I think he agrees. This was a really good match. This was a really good wrestling match. There were different bits and parts where I was, didn't like as much as others, but it is what it is. I'm not in there. I don't know better than these guys. You just go, maybe part of it's just because Dax is one of my favorites. I don't like him losing or tapping out or anything like that, but I could be being partial or biased, as it were. I do think the way he tapped out was really dainty and weird, but he was all
that was.
But let's go to Klump and then to Amanda. Klump, what do you think of this match?
It was a good match. These two, Jungle Boy is not the weakness of Lucha Express. So seeing him in this spot, hell yeah. And it looked great. I really loved how it worked out, and it's good to see the Revival highlighted as individuals too. So I'm pumped. I want to see more of this.
Yeah. Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, Jungle Boy, I'm so used to seeing him wrestle singles. And I love how a lot of the, everyone on Twitter, oh my God, that was like the best match ever. Like that was his best match ever. I'm like, no, you need to see the series he had with Jake Atlas. Those were some of the best matches he's ever done. And I've been there for all three of them. And I will say that it was great to see it. I really think that they might need to say goodbye to Jurassic Express.
I wish
Just
they would.
let Jungle Boy do his thing with his theme song that everybody loves. And
that was getting tired though.
No,
by the end of that match, I was so fucking annoyed at the paid audience for constantly singing that song during the match in parts that didn't make even sense.
Blame the Gunn brothers because those are the two that were totally doing it and whatever.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't know. Maybe because it's nostalgic for me and I love it, and it'll never get old for me. But then again, I mean, you could say, well, you bash Judas and think that's stale. Well, yeah, probably the Baltimore thing's going to get stale, but I think it's it's great because that's the Jungle Boy that I know, and that's what I was hoping to see is more of his singles because he's a phenomenal wrestler.
That's true. I'll give you that. To me, the crowd singing it was too much during the match because, like you said, it was clearly the Gunn brothers, or the Gun Club. It was clearly the paid hands. It was clearly them saying, "We got to get this song over." So when people are back in here, they're singing. It was just way too much of it. Every single time they had a chance, they were just singing that stupid song, which I don't even care for the song to begin with, but I don't care about it either way, to be honest. When they did, I was like, oh, that's fun for him. And by the end of the match, I was like, shut the fuck up already with that stupid song. Justin in the chat says, this shows that whether it be in a tag match or a singles action, FTR is the greatest tag team in the world. Jungle Boy is unbelievable. He was a star written all over him. He has a star written all over him. I agree with all that. I don't know. I loved it. I didn't like the singing, but that was it. And that wasn't them. So, Klump, anything we're missing on this?
No, I agree with you guys 100%. It was a great match. I the only takeaway I have of it is I'm excited to see more singles Jungle Boy, and I think that this release cements it. And I might be okay with singles Revival, like as individual or FTR as parts, but they don't need it, and I think that speaks to they're a great tag team can work together, but it also needs to be made of individuals that can do it themselves. The New Day, we're seeing all three guys can do fantastic shit separately. Some things one might be stronger than the others but they're all able to work individually. That doesn't mean you have to separate them. But then you have tag teams where Matt Hardy and Shannon Moore, there's one person who's better, or unfortunately to me, Beer Money Inc. I don't think individually. I don't think James Storm is an individual star. I think he needs a backup. And I like James Storm a lot, but I think he needs some, whether that be Bobby Roode or Eli Drake.
Eli Drake, man. Him and Eli Drake. Yeah. That was some money together. Right there. That was money.
But a truly fantastic and great tag team, it's got to be it's better when it's two people who are at that level where they can be, I don't need this, but I'm here,
There was a time when Arn Anderson was both tag champion and TV champion. So I agree.
The guy with the playbook?
The guy with the playbook. Him and Tully were tag champs at the same time. He was also TV champ. This was during Four Horsemen days. So I think it's possible. I think it's possible that a guy like Dax could go and take that TNT title right off the smug, shitty little hands of Darby Allin.
Someone else is doing that already.
Maybe.
No, maybe.
Sting?
I just want to see Darby
Allin
Allin.
No.
It's going to be Sting?
No.
A man called Sting.
No.
A man called Sting.
No.
Into the fire with Sting.
No. It's not Sting. No.
It's Sting.
No, it's not.
It's Sting!
It's Sting!
No, because I'm sure they're going to say, you know what, we got to cut on the snow budget. It's going to be really difficult once they start touring again. How the fuck are they going to do the snow? So I say no. But it's
just like, stop it.
It's a pandemic. We're running out. It's a pandemic. It's hard for us to get soap that we used to make snow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna say this what Justin says, and then we're gonna basically breeze through the end unless there was something specific you guys want to say. It says, honestly, if Jungle Boy goes singles, they should either keep Marco and Luchasaurus together or have Luchasaurus go single as well and bring in Marco's brother Logan and make them a team. My understanding is Logan's a garbage human from what I've seen, but I don't know. But to be honest, I'm so not invested in the Luchasaurus. I'm an actual dinosaur bullshit gimmick of it all. He is TL Hopper to me. I'm done. I don't need any more goon. I'm fine with it. We can leave Luchasaurus in the 90s. I have no desire. I don't care. Whatever. Even his wrestling is like mediocre. He's highlighted by Jungle Boy. The dude's got the worst kicks in the business. I don't know. I don't care what they do with Marco or Luchasaurus, to be honest. They can put him on dark. I don't care.
They always are dark, but I honestly like Luchasaurus. I think a lot of people, they thought it was cute at first, but like for me, I've always thought, God, this guy's stupid. He's horrible. Like I think he's only really getting, traction because Joey Ryan used to book him a lot. Sorry, I said that name. But he also was on Big Brother, so. But he's horrible. I mean, he's just bad. It looks sloppy. So I could live without him. So, but I did love that they tore off his horns on his mask. That was great.
Yeah, I really liked him at first too, but yeah, it's growing old. The more I see him in the ring, the more I'm like, is he getting worse? It's really weird. Yeah. I think Klump likes him, and so I feel bad shitting on him like that. But here we are, Klump. What are you gonna do?
It's all good.
Yeah.
I like my wrestling.
Klump's like, take it or leave it.
I'm kind of done.
Yeah, he could if he went on, I guess I don't care. Let's see. Britt Baker versus Shanna. Shanna was a star. Britt Baker looks worse than ever. And then we had Dark Order versus Young Bucks. It was weird, right? And then we had Dark Order versus Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers. So,
can I throw one thing real quick out about Britt Baker and Shanna?
Yes, I'm just clumping this all together to say let's talk, because all I have to say about both of these things is Shanna was a star. I don't understand why they keep pushing Britt Baker. She's clearly bad at all of this, and but I do think people like her because they're told to. I think that people are playing the part in that one. I really don't see anything. I don't see anything there with her. And then with Dark Order versus Young Bucks and Good Brothers, this was exactly the mess you would think it was, and it ended exactly how you would think it was. So it was kind of throwaway to me. So go ahead and say what you want to say about either of those segments. Klump, go.
I got things on both. Okay, so Shanna versus Britt Baker, I agree with you. It felt 100%. I felt like I was watching people work on things, and I felt like I was watching somebody learn to wrestle. It looked like when you watch like BuzzFeed stars learning how to wrestle, and I was like, cool, you're learning to take a bump. And Shanna looked like they were trying. So I was really kind of frustrated with it. Dark Order, Young Bucks. I honestly. I kept watching and I was like, wow, everyone in Dark Order I thought was doing good. Same with the Good Brothers. I was like, wow, you guys are doing it. I was getting more and more frustrated as the match went on with the fucking Young Bucks. Like, I thought Stu Grayson looked fucking good. Yeah. I thought Evil Uno looked good. I was like, wow, Evil Uno, I was like, he's really gotten in better shape. Frankly, in ring and stuff, I was like, he looks good. And they were using him well because, and I thought, what's Tiny Fucker's name?
John Silver.
Yeah, he looked good. I was like, everyone on this team looks fucking good, and I can understand why you're here. And the Good Brothers look good. The Young Bucks, I was just annoyed. I was annoyed they won. I was annoyed how they won. I was, I got really tired of there was parts I really wanted to like the match. I got really tired of why is everyone in the ring and it appears that the Dark Order's trying to follow this. I was pretty done with it. And it felt like a very long match that buried people who didn't need to be buried for Moxley to come out and end the show.
Yeah, and what's remarkable about that to me is that you came into AEW as they got their announcement as a big Young Bucks fan. And so even as we went on and me and Kev were like, we just don't see it, the consensus of our group chat was always like, I really hope you like that one, Klump. You know what I mean? It was never like, we were never trying to like stop you from liking it so much as like me and him would look at each other like, I don't see it. But if Klump liked it, then we're in a good spot. And more, you're like falling away from Young Bucks. And I think it's because you're watching it with slightly more critical eye or watching all this other talent around them. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of crazy. Justin does say in the chat, it's crazy how Britt Baker is with someone as incredible as Adam Cole, and she's absolutely abysmal. I mean, I've thought the same thing. Here's the thing. I don't even like Adam Cole, but at the same time, I don't understand how she's this bad at taking a bump or doing moves if she's with him, because he can do those things. I don't like his matches, but he can do those things perfectly. I just don't like the way that those matches are sewn together. He also says John Silver with his Cesaro style sequence was insane. Oh yeah, he was doing that run around thing.
No, that was
Stu Grayson. Yeah, I think that's right, Stu Grayson.
And I
Amanda,
saw that, I was like, that's great.
Yeah, did you? Amanda, what do you want to say about either of these two matches?
Britt Baker, it's gonna look really bad, her versus Thunder Rosa. That's all I'm gonna say. It's the only comment I have about that match. So next week, that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel bad for Thunder Rosa, to be honest, but yeah, it's going to be bad. But whatever. The tag thing, I must say, like John Silver, as much as he annoys me on BTE, I don't know, but he and Reynolds are actually doing a pretty damn good stand-up job. Those two are really good. Been very impressed with their in-ring. I love, the original Dark Order, those two. I mean, Evil Uno, he's the one who doesn't have the bad body because they have Colt Cabana. Colt's totally out of shape. So that's his role. So, but Evil Uno does look a lot better. And Stu Grayson was on fire. I mean, I was like, holy shit, this is just amazing. And but I will say I did want to say with the Young Bucks, I think that they're too busy trying to really kind of put people over. It's not really about them. Where Jericho, it's about him, or Cody, sometimes it seems it's about him. So I think that there's that difference there. So I think like the wrestling itself kind of takes a back seat. But all I knew was when they were like, oh yeah, there's a battle royal tag thing, and oh, the Bucks are going to be in it. And as soon as they said that, I said, yeah, that's who's going to win it, because they can choose their opponent. So at Revolution, we're probably going to see the Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers.
Way to bury fucking everyone.
Yeah. And I mean, seriously, if I were a tag team, I'd be all, what the fuck? Seriously. I mean, they're not even work here. It's like, that scene in Mean Girls where they had the girl chat, and then that one guy, Damien's there. She doesn't even go here. Yeah, that's that moment for me with the Good Brother.
I'm glad you said that, because honestly, up until when you were going through that, I was like, if Amanda doesn't mention this Battle Royal tag match, I'm about to blow the fuck up. Because like everything you're saying, I'm about to say, this thing next week can fuck everything. But no, because, and I agree with you, is I feel like the Young Bucks, if they want to build people up, because they need to, because it can't just be a division around them. But this match to me didn't feel like they were doing favors to anyone. Yeah. Because even that Meltzer driver had me yelling.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it's like, this is the one thing you're supposed to fucking do well. Like, and you timed it so shit, and it's all you. It's not anyone else helping you, and you fucked it up that bad.
Yeah. And they replayed it like 3 times. I was like,
yes,
and show it.
And I was sitting there, like, man, y'all need either like, you need better camera people to cover this, because fuck. Like, it looked so bad. And the segment before, I was pretty tired of it. And yeah, next week, that promo of them saying it could be anyone, I sat there, it's like, I swear, no, just don't. Like, you could do so many things and build up so many teams here. You could have another awesome feud. You could have you guys lose the belts to somebody and then have a feud with the Good Brothers.
Who could be a surprise entrant and win it and go on to face the Young Bucks, and it would be incredible, because we've seen them recently and we know they look mean and ready to go. We saw them. The Godwins, they were there at Undertaker's retirement. They're 100 years old and meaner than ever. Put the Godwins in that match, let them win the Rumble, take this to a hog pin match against the Young Bucks at Revolution.
I quit.
No, I'd rather see Rock and Roll Express go in there and.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
But I think that would be more phenomenal to see Rock and Roll Express in there.
Klump,
and it would be good morale for all those young, tag guys too, to have those two. I mean, the learning tree right there would be pretty incredible. But we already know where it's going.
Demolition and their weird S&M gear.
Yes. But we know where this
100%.
is going.
Yes.
So yeah.
I wouldn't actually be surprised. Now that you bring it up, I wouldn't be shocked if it was the Rock and Roll Express, if they did win it and did get a match with the Young Bucks, because it's just like, oh, Icon versus Icon, and they try to play it up like it's Hogan versus The Rock, but it's not. And knowing full well that we saw the Rock and Roll Express against like James Storm and Eli Drake, that was fucking phenomenal. You would watch this horse shit of a match fall to pieces and go, guys, why'd you think you could just do what other people do? Go ahead.
I was going to say, honestly, if we're going to build up a feud between the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks and kind of this explosion of the Elite, can we not telegraph it like this? Can you not make this entire thing? Like, one thing that pisses me off so much when I compare, like, people hating on WWE versus hating on AEW is a lot of times people hating on WWE are like, oh, I could see the Roman Reigns is going to be against The Rock, 4 years out. Okay, I get you. But can we not have the same kind of conversation about what this is? Because straight up, all I can see is, yeah, it's going to be the Bullet Club. exploding because they've even said Bullet Club, and that's the fucking feud.
Mhm.
Have we ever
Can
been
we-
wrong about one prediction of a match outcome on anything
No.
AEW since it started?
Nope, we haven't. But wouldn't it be way cooler if? Wouldn't it be way cooler if Varsity Blondes won it? You're like, whoa, come from behind.
Yeah, it's
Or-
pretty cool.
Evil Uno and Stu Grayson,
come
or
on.
still.
The other
Hey,
two.
I like this. I like this.
Mhm.
They did good
Yeah.
here, but have just somebody else, and then they lose the match because the Good Brothers, break it up, and then we have more of a feud there, and that'd be cool. But nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Well, you want to here's something that's a total like out there swerve, but we'll see
Okay.
what happens on Sunday. Is I was thinking because obviously this is there's that tension with Kenny now. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be
Are
funny?
you about to say that Bischoff and Hogan are going to team up, enter that Royal Rumble, and win?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That'd be good. But
What
okay,
I'm
go
trying
on.
to say is you'll get another former leader of the Bullet Club, Switchblade.
Boo! Switchblade's
Isn't
going to
JY doing like a-
WWE.
Isn't he in a 4-year contract still?
Who knows?
No.
No, I think he's out.
He's out. They took him immediately after Wrestle Kingdom. He was off, or whatever that show was. He was off their
Yeah.
website, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. So
Yeah.
yeah,
that's
it was
Wow.
like, what the? Oh, it's like he's gone. Okay, well, all right. Don't let the door hit
I'm-
your ass on the way out, buddy.
Kiwi piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, that would make for interesting TV because everyone thinks
It
he's
would.
going. Well, I don't know where he's going. He's probably going to be in the Rumble. I
That'd
wouldn't
be
be
cool.
surprised. But
That'd be cool.
it would be interesting if he doesn't show up there and he ends up showing up on AEW because that's more like that's a really interesting turn of events.
That'd be interesting. That would.
Mhm.
Let's
But
wrap up
actually-
AEW.
Yeah.
Justin says AEW matches are mostly very predictable, but he did say up here Britt needs to bring it next week or Thunder Rosa will make her look like a massive joke. And what I think is important to think about that is that we know how good Thunder Rosa is, and people have seen her matches time and time again with many different talent put on great matches. So if there is a bad match next week, no one's looking at Thunder Rosa for that. So I agree with that. And Kuro made it into the chat saying, "Brouhaha." I don't know what he's talking about directly, but I'm into it and I love it. Cheers to Kuro. Any final thoughts on AEW so we can get on to NXT? Klump,
Nah, let's go. Let's barrel through this.
let's
Mhm.
do it. Amanda, any final thoughts on AEW?
Nope.
All right, cool. Let's do it. I will say this as a final thought on AEW. It was a much more enjoyable show, all in all, beginning to end, than the week previous, which is all we can hope for is improvement. We'll see where it goes, and it gets us talking. And hey, that's what we're here to do. Just talk and drink and have a good time.
Oh wait, there
Um,
was something.
What?
There was something. Apparently, the ratings were almost similar. And
Very, very close,
apparently-
yeah.
But the biggest loss was they lost over 80,000 viewers in that 18 to 45 age range. And I'm like, yeah, you know why? Because last week sucked. So they, they're like, I don't want to watch this shit again if it's going to be the same thing. So I think that's where that fallout came from. So, and I don't blame people.
And
I almost
also
was
does
like, oh, why am I watching this? It's going to be horrible again.
I mean, it doesn't help that also we couldn't watch the first 20. Most of us can watch the first 20 minutes.
That's a really good call, actually. If the network's just having problems for the first 20 minutes or so, how many kids, 18 through 49, are going to be like, I'll sit here and watch nothing for a while? Or are they going to go say, fuck it, I'll watch something else. Forget it.
Yeah.
It's not working. Moving on. I'm playing a video game.
I think
Can't come back.
I think the only reason they maintained it was you might have had people like Marsh or I who have IBS and we were taking a mean one and then we just
Yeah.
came as I figured it wasn't going to be good.
At
But
first,
now
I was
there's TV, we
hoping.
didn't even notice.
And we
I was hoping it was a
Sting.
cool.
I did feel robbed about that.
thought it was
Snowless thing.
Actually, producer, what were you about to say?
I thought it was gonna be a cool new Dark Order thing or something trippier, but definitely wasn't. And so it turned me off.
It came out like a big, it was choppy and scrolling and stuff, and we're like, oh shit, what's happening? And I was like, it's Bray Wyatt, and she's like, it's the Dark Order. I was like, oh my god! And then we're just like, oh wait, it's just bad technology. Never mind. We got all hyped, and
Yeah.
maybe that's
Get
what
all
did it. Maybe it helps us sort it out.
They should have just honestly owned it and said like, this, this is an angle we're working in, and have King come in next to. How good was it? You fucking missed it, and you know why? And then it turned. Yeah, just I don't know.
Yeah, how cool would it have been if like Tony Khan was fast thinking enough to be like, get a Dark Order preview ready to go. As soon as we're back online, play Dark Order. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It'd been so funny. All right, cool,
We lost
guys.
power because of that wrestling theme park we were hooking up.
It was Retribution. Guys, the Men's Dusty Classic continued on NXT, opening up with MSK versus Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. This was a fantastic match. All four people, so good. Here's the deal. I've heard some criticism about this episode of NXT, saying that it didn't have a lot of story. It was mostly used to move along a couple of brackets on a couple of tournaments. And I hear you. I feel that. However, I watch NXT directly after AEW. And watching a story-heavy show with really bad wrestling, it is so refreshing to turn over to NXT and just get straight into some incredible on-point wrestling where people hit each other. They hit their marks. They don't look awkward getting there. So when I'm watching it and it's just like match after match after match, I'm all like, whew, this is nice. Am I way off? Am I being a dick? Klump?
No.
I mean, you're always a dick, but no, I 100% agree with you. Like, it felt like, I watched it, I was like, okay, like, this drug, but it wasn't like a bad drag. It was like, okay, this is a lot to get through. Like, it was like a really dense album of music where you're like, okay, I gotta sit through this, but I can't sit through this.
Right.
You know?
And I have said before, and so I'm not going to pretend I'm not, put my own foot in my mouth. I have said I can see a good match anywhere. Give me some really good stories. That's all I really want. I've said it time and time again. 5-star matches we're getting every week now. Please give me some story. But I watch it immediately after AEW, and it can be so refreshing just to get 2 straight hours of awesome wrestling matches. And that's what I got this week, and I loved it. But I also recognize and appreciate the criticism that the stories seem lacking. However, I'm also in the camp of we're really talking Dusty Classics right now. We're trying to show amazing tag team wrestling. This is their chance to highlight tag team wrestling. I don't think there was a single singles match on this card. They're just saying, look how great tag team wrestling can be, which after watching a whole other card of a bunch of sloppy tag team wrestling matches from a company that says they're the tag team company, it's fucking nice to me. And maybe I'm being a total dick. That's possible. I've been an asshole before. People have told me to my face. Amanda, what'd you think of this? MSK, they're incredible. Why have you been keeping them a secret from me?
Why?
Why did you never tell me to watch them? What's the matter with you?
I don't know. There's so much to watch. Well, because I don't watch Impact, so who watches Impact? Not me. So, but honestly, like, if people, the criticism, there wasn't storyline. They're doing 2 tag team tournaments right now, a men's and a women's. Where's their time for story? Now, there is a little bit of story here and there that that you get to see, obviously with Kushida, and Johnny Gargano. So I mean, you're getting a little bit here and there,
The Tony stuff.
Tony Storm and Mercedes. Yeah. That was very interesting.
But it wasn't dripping in story, that's for sure.
No, but also, I want to say it again. I thought Tony Storm looked like Dee Snider. Sorry. It was because she had the face paint on and her hair was kind of like the blonde-ish, Dee Snider look from the 80s, and then her gear. So that's the only reason why I said that. But yes, I believe she did look like Dee Snider.
I was like, compliment to Tony Storm though, because Dee Snider.
Sorry, girl, but you look like Dee Snider. But
what's funny is I actually was gonna say it last week and didn't. I forgot to, and whatever, doesn't matter. I thought, to me, like a couple things I took note of, I should say, that like I kind of turned into producer and was like, is it just me, or I thought Eddie Kingston was looking like he was in much better shape than he had previously. I think like he looks like he's leaning up some. I also thought the same about Tony Storm. I was like, is she leaning up too? Is she getting like in fighting ready? Like, so I mean, kudos to both of them, especially if one looks like Dee Snider, as far as you say.
It was her look. It was her look. Go back. I'll try to post a comparison picture.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Have we figured out what MSK stands for?
No, but I put out a Wes Lee does follow me, so I put out a question. So he'll probably either answer it or he'll DM me if it's supposed to be secret. But I don't know.
Do you think it's Mama Said Knock You Out?
No.
All right. Because knock you out could be one word, right, Klump? That's how you spell that.
That's a long.
That's 2 words.
That's a lot of.
That's
words.
why you abbreviate it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I had a joke for it, but I can't even think of it now. I'm like, bastard.
Yeah, because you're just so upset now.
Actually, I now remember my joke, and I'm not going to say it because it's offensive. Well, it's not offensive. It's just upsetting. I was just going to say it stands for multiple sclerosis kills, and it's just like them trying to raise money for the cause of multiple sclerosis. Yes, exactly.
They got like the little ribbons all over their gear and shit.
Exactly. It's like an ice bucket challenge
Thought he was gonna skip that, and then he definitely didn't.
I'm just not
edit
used.
that out. I support editing that out.
I'm not used to the hand sign, the whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like the M. I just kept seeing them do the M.
Yeah, no, because they used to do. That was the Rascals.
Money, skills, knowledge. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, money, skills, knowledge. That'd be good. That's some Triforce shit
that's
right
good
there.
one. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Let's go with that. That's better. Go.
I bet you if you can get him to DM you, I bet you he says we're really not sure yet. And when he says that, go say money, skills, knowledge, and he's gonna go, oh shit.
Yeah. That's would be fuck. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, Wesley. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's gonna be like, oh shit.
Names.
And he goes, you didn't say that on a podcast yet, did you? And you go, not one that someone listens to.
Not one that, people like, it wasn't like Colt Cabanas or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally the viewership is like, they owe us at this point. Like they owe us viewership. Justin does say MSK was excellent as always. Maverick and Dane, I gotta say, did really good. Dude, I'm having so much fun with them. I love the growth that they've done as a team. Where Killian Dane was so against it and now has just accepted it. And Drake Maverick is so fucking good. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird how good he is at this. He says, give
He's
them a
so
little more
good,
time together
he's
and
good
it'll be a
at
solid
object.
team. Go ahead. He's what?
He's so good. He's good at being a fucking blunt object.
Yes. The way he sells being used as a weapon is better than any other team I've seen do that. He's so good. So good. Splinter Fox says, ding dong, hello. That's right, Splinter Fox. You're back just in time for NXT because we're done with AEW. Cheers to Splinter Fox. I don't have anything else to say about this other than just more MSK forever. Also, what was it? Money, stocks, and clunks? Skills and knowledge.
Yep, money, skills, knowledge. Yep.
Yeah, money, skills, knowledge. Write it down because otherwise you're going to be all like, it's memes, stonks, and clicks.
No. That no money.
Write it down.
Knowledge. Yeah.
It's where? Everything they got. We got money. We got skills. We got knowledge. We got memes. We got stonks. We got clouds. That's how it's going to go, right? Klump, I'm not wrong, right? Ooh, what if the case for Klump? We got marshes. What's the S? Shitty podcast. Yeah, we got marshes. We got swamp ass.
Shit.
We got clumps. Marshes, swamp ass, clumps.
Yeah.
What? MSK.
Yeah. What connects marsh and clumps? Things related to swamp ass.
Or
Shits
shit.
and swamp ass.
Yeah.
Yep, shit. Yeah.
We have we start before the show. We had a conversation about my terrible stomach flu.
Yeah. No.
God.
We stop. No. Stop.
Oh, God. Still happening, by
Ratings
the way.
went.
All right, you can excuse yourself.
No, I wish
too,
it was
Klump.
not. It was more just sad and sitting in it.
Oh, I love this.
Again.
Splinter Fox is in the chat. He goes, "Cool. I don't have to hear the bashing of AEW." All right. I hear you.
no
However,
bashing.
we did say this was a really good show this week. So, maybe it was a little half and half.
I
We
mean,
shied
compared to
on some
last-
stuff, but we liked a lot of it. We liked this episode this week. So.
Compared to last
Yeah,
week, yeah.
we provided criticism with a fucking hammer.
There was only like the major criticism was one match. I mean, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, we're not gonna fight Splinter Fox in this one. He's right. We were pretty rough on things a lot, but we did actually all enjoy the show this week. So that is that. Leah Moonlight says, "Pet, hope meds helped with that stomach flu."
Yes.
Did you get meds from Leah Moonlight?
Yes, it did.
Leah Moonlight watches when you're not here, Klump. Just so you know, she's a fan of the
Yeah,
show,
they're-
not
they're-
you.
They're a pretty amazing person. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing as well.
We love them. Leah, you're my favorite person associated with Klump.
Oh,
Let's see. I mean, I don't have anything to say about that match other than it was just perfect. Go watch it. I love it. Women's Dusty Classic. Oh, Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea.
Yes.
This was
yes.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Producer's losing her shit. We got to let her have the mic.
Oh, just another shout out to the commentary team because the whole time they're repeating
Jessie Kamea.
Kamea's name. Yeah, the whole time. And I was like, oh shit, that's so good because I haven't seen her in a while. And so I just thought that was really nicely done.
Yeah. I don't know if we've seen her much since she's been in Retribution.
No, we did once.
Once? I think you're right. Yeah. This was so cool. And I saw a lot of this is what I love about the dirt sheets. They're stupid. And here's the deal. Is over here, we're smart. We're smart as fuck. You know why we're so smart, Klump? We know we're stupid. That's what makes us smart. They were all saying
about
set
a
our bar
theme
low.
park, a wrestling theme park. Okay, that was a great idea. That was brilliance.
oh yeah, the theme park is it. That's our
we balanced
that's
that
our
out.
opus.
Yep.
But you balance that out with like the talk of like shits. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
shitty-
it's
yeah.
balanced. But
Okay.
Raquel
Unlike my
and
diet,
Dakota
boom.
Kai, people were saying that this was going to be Dakota Kai's last match. They were going to go there and lose, and Dakota Kai was getting called up to the main roster, and this was it. And they were saying it over and over. A bunch of different people were saying it, and I was like, I don't know if you want to make Raquel look weak like that, even by a tag team partner association. But I don't know. I don't know any better, but I'm just going to watch it and see. And Raquel and Dakota win, and everyone's all like, well, I don't know anymore. Oh, you don't? Maybe you didn't know to begin with. Splinter Fox in the chat, though, saying, I'm ride or die AEW. They gave me something to watch instead of AEW. I will forever thank them. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that, 100%. I love diehard AEW fans because the one thing that makes wrestling fandom exciting and fun is that we're all getting worked by somebody and everybody needs their shills. So any AEW shill is welcome here as long as you can accept us as being WWE shills because that's kind of the game. But we all love each other for shilling. Amanda, what'd you think of this match?
It was phenomenal. I mean, it could have gone either way. So like even if Dakota Kai and Raquel lost, it wouldn't be, oh man, Raquel looks weak. No, not at all. Because that was a really phenomenal match. Like I honestly was like, damn, I don't know. Like I was watching it like, I don't know who, whoever comes out on top,
Yeah.
it's like barely because it was that good. And stuff.
I forget how good Dakota Kai is. Sometimes I think she's like a Mr. Perfect of the women's division, a Cesaro or a Ziggler, like someone who you kind of forget about for a while and then they come out and do stuff and you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
They're great at this. Producer, something she wants to say.
But I think everyone looked great in this, honestly. I think the commentary said at one point, wow, this is the best Aaliyah's look. And I was like, that's right. This is the best match I think I've ever seen with her.
Yep. Klump?
Yeah. No, the only thing about this match I did not like was Robert Stone. That is the only thing I like. Yeah. I just fucking hate his existence.
Oh.
Like, I don't want to see him in fuck anything, period. And this is like a long-standing thing. He's my Sean Spears for Marsh. Like, Marsh will just Marsh hates Sean. Yeah, fuck Sean Spears. Fuck Robert Stone. He needs to prove otherwise. But right now, fuck him. So that was the only thing about the match I didn't like. Was just his presence. Like, and honestly, the only thing I don't like about AEW generally is, I'm assuming he might be within the vicinity of it, or WWE like NXT, is that he just might be in the vicinity of it. And so if I get the sense that Stone might be there, it makes the show. I knock it down a couple points.
Yeah. No.
It's just there.
Also, give me like.
I
2 minutes.
I agree
gotta
with.
run and let my dogs in.
Go ahead. Go let the dogs out. Ooh, let the dogs in. Ooh, 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 ooh. I do agree with Amanda though. Robert Stone was in better form here than normal because he was a lot less involved and a lot less over the top. So I did appreciate that. So I hear you, Amanda.
Yeah. That's why that was the one thing I was like, is he just standing? I mean, is he gonna do anything? Because I kept thinking about that, like when I would see him in the background, and I'm like, no, he's just there. He was there to walk him out, take him back to the back. I mean, it was, he was just there.
Absolutely. He was just kind of there, and I dug that part of it. Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, some chatter in there. We got Justin saying, Faptina says he didn't do anything, but I wouldn't mind if he goes. Justin said, I said it last night. I still don't understand how Mercedes Martinez jumped ahead of Raquel Gonzalez. I still think Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are going to go all the way. They are the team to beat. Do you think Dakota Kai and Raquel take the whole classic? I'm trying to think of another team in there that's... You know what? I think you could get a surprise with some of the other women we haven't seen yet still.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaden and Casey. They're going to be a team to be watching.
Yeah.
Lacey Ryan, I forget what her new name is, but she's in a pretty powerhouse kind of team. But I think they've only been on 205. I don't think they've been on the NXT show. So maybe they're not. Maybe they don't have big plans there. Do you think we end up getting Kaden and Casey against Raquel and Dakota?
Oh, yeah.
That wouldn't shock me. And I wouldn't be surprised if Casey and Kaden came out on top.
Yeah. It looked so good. I mean, the last match. So, I mean, I don't see why not.
No. Yeah, for sure. Splinter Fox is throwing out some Royal Rumble theory. We will circle back to that, but we won't derail us that bad at this moment. But we were going to circle back to that one, Splinter Fox. Yeah, no, I liked it. I'm excited about that concept. Let's see, Tyler Rust against Danny Garcia. It was what it was. I like Malcolm Bivens doing his thing here, and Tyler Rust is looking good. But I don't have anything else other to say than keep it moving.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on that?
No.
Just solid.
It was just
Kushida.
It was okay.
Yeah. It was okay and was good for character work. And it was a good match. It wasn't bad. So, yeah.
There's your storyline there, people.
Yeah, there's a storyline for it.
Jesus.
For everyone with terrible wrestling takes. There's your storyline, goddammit. Kushida and Leon Ruff against Grizzled Young Veterans. Kushida and Leon Ruff lose it, and the Young Vets move on.
Yeah.
This was still a really good match. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I love Kushida and Leon so much that, like, it hurts to see them lose. But I don't think any of us thought they were really going all the way.
No.
Right?
No. Because Kushida...
And the Grizzled Young Vets are so good.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Go ahead.
They have bigger plans for him. So
Kushida's going to a singles thing, and the Young Vets are an incredible tag team that you always forget how good they are. They always come out and you're all like, oh, yeah, I guess they're coming out. And then, they're pretty okay.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
That's me.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. Leon Ruff is kind of reminded me yesterday of Cheeseburger from ROH. And I'm not saying it in an insulting way. It's just kind of some of the style. Except I think that Leon Ruff is a lot smoother of a wrestler.
Yeah.
Than
And he's
Cheeseburger.
like 2 cheeseburgers in size, which tells you how small.
No, they're
Cheeseburger
about
is.
the same size. They're about the same. No. But I will say that I really enjoyed Kushida and Leon Ruff tagging together. So that was they had a good synergy together.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this Way stuff with Gargano and Dexter Lumis and Austin Theory, and what do you think about all that? To me, it's just like another little bit in the show, and I just kind of let it go.
Yeah, well, it's Johnny. Nah, don't say Kushi. Don't say that name. Like, oh, shut up. Whatever.
No, stupid. Producer, something she wanted to say.
I think I'm so. I'm so annoyed at Gargano, just at his acting, and every time I see him, I just kind of roll my eyes, and I want to hurry up and be done. But then when I saw Loomis at the end, I was like, oh, okay, I could actually, this makes me interested, just because I want Gargano to shut up. So I kind of do want to see his ass beaten. So I guess it's working for me.
Well, there's that. I think Austin Theory and Dexter Lumis is far more interesting than Johnny Gargano on TV at all. There's nothing Gargano's going to do that's going to get me excited at this point. I don't think. He just hasn't in a really long time. So,
yeah.
Justin says, so glad they let Leon Ruff show how good he is after everyone was so against him when he won the North American Championship. And that's true too, man. Leon Ruff's was like, I know you think I'm a jobber with a title right now, but I'm also really fucking good at this, and he's been proving that.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop getting mad at me for being on Twitter right now, but I do whatever I want, guys. Let's see. Splinter Fox says, OMG, the GCW Fight Forever is looking promising. I can't wait for that more than Royal Rumble. 24 hours of live pay-per-view. I want to see it. Is there a 24-hour pay-per-view for GCW?
Yep. For free. On Fight Now. It was on YouTube, but I think Fight's airing the whole thing.
Jeez.
Yes.
All right. Well, eat it up. Anybody we know who's going to be there?
Besides Joey Janela? Chris Dickinson?
Is he going to be there?
Yeah.
I thought they would have told Joey no after he fucking caught COVID the last time he went out there.
That's
Can't catch it twice.
GCW is his baby. Okay, so, but not only just that, but what the fuck is Joey Janela doing on AEW right now?
Good point.
He doesn't even go. He hasn't been going to Jacksonville.
Jesus.
So, I question that. I miss Joey. Damn it.
Well, if you let Joey know if he ever wants to do a watch along, just watch wrestling with me live on Twitch, anytime.
Got it.
And we'll just talk wrestling. Just let him know. Any match he wants to see, I'll get it.
Got it. Probably throw a really weird one out there for you.
He's gonna make me watch all this fucking Necro Butcher shit, and I'm like, God damn it, Joey!
He's not gonna make you watch Necro Butcher shit. No, you might get some like All Japan or something. Like he'll give you something really, really random.
What's wrong with Necro Butcher?
Yeah, some people don't like him because
I mean, how many Necro Butcher matches back to back can you get? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Matches. I thought you meant from the like bassist from Mayhem.
Oh, that too. All right. I'm getting us back on track. Back on track.
Hold on. I will say this: the GCW thing, the ones that you probably want to watch for the culture, that slot, the at the Collective, that was probably the best show of all of them. And AJ Gray did an amazing job booking all the talent for that. This one is probably going to be just as great. You want to watch Lee Moriarty? He's a good guy to watch right now because I think he's like probably one of the ones that are those unsigned people that's probably going to be next. So I'd definitely say that. Effie's thing that he's doing, his gay whatever, that's actually he's got a couple of pretty good matches right there.
Yeah.
And
Splinter Fox says in the chat, Red Beer versus Homicide. That actually sounds exciting. But let's see. Justin does say one person he's waiting for NXT to debut is Alex Zane. I thought he was like go. Is that not right, or is he signed with them?
He signed.
Oh, did he?
Okay,
Alex
I got
Zane's
that
the
opposite.
blonde. He's got the body by Taco Bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Nash Carter. Anyways.
Yeah. Well.
Tony Storm comes out, talks mad shit about EO, says, EO, I beat your ass before. I'll give you an ass whooping again. I'll serve you up. I'll wax you like a noodle, New York style, she says.
She doesn't say that.
What?
That was just an advertisement.
She goes, I'll wax you New York style, you noodle.
That's the Thunderdome advertisement we see every week.
I love the Thunderdome. I live in it. So, Tony Storm's going to make a noodle out of Io Shirai, and she's going to wax her New York style because she's from Australia.
You
And
can
then Mark's
stop
what?
saying that. No one's gonna get that reference.
What? It's in the Thunderdome. Not everyone's in the Thunderdome. You look like a chicken nugget and a potato had a baby. Oh! Sorry.
Yeah, no one's gonna get this.
This didn't work? It didn't work? Mercedes Martinez comes out, also catches an ass whooping by Tony. Tony's holding up the title at the end. I'll tell you, I never like when someone who doesn't have the title holds it up like they're the champion because they're like, I'm going to get it. I never like those photo ops. But that's where we're at. Do you think we're getting a triple threat between the three of them at the next takeover? Because that would make me mad.
Yeah, I think so.
Klump.
That'd be cool.
Oh, yeah. I'll
I support
Klump's
that.
just upset about all that stuff I just said. He's just sitting here upset.
Yes. Be cool with it. I mean, oh,
Yeah. Yep. All right. I thought Toni Storm is looking like she's leaned up a little bit, looking good, looking ready to fight, and I thought her promo was really good. I thought Io did an awesome job too, which is good because we haven't seen Io in a while, right?
Mm-mm.
No?
War Games, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys have nothing to say about it, we'll move on. I think those are going to be three big stars doing big stuff. Speaking of big, we got the colossal Bronson Reed versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. I don't know who's Weed and who. He came out without his Godzilla on his shoulders, and I felt bad. I was like, oh, maybe he's listening because we talked last week about how I didn't like it.
Yeah, he heard us. Telling you, we are influencers without knowing it.
Yeah, but he kept his mullet, and I also said I didn't like the mullet. I said, no mullet, no Godzilla, we're good. Maybe he met me in the middle, and he goes, look, dude.
Yeah, that's too far.
The mullet's too far, but the Godzilla can go. So we'll see. But this was a fucking great match. Bronson Reed looked like a fucking wall. Just a wall of human. And he kept pushing. I loved his use of shove. Isaiah walking up to him, and he just pushes him to the ground like, fuck! Yeah. Just shoving him to the ground. And then he does that thing where Isaiah was running at him, and he just, like, jumps straight up, like, run into me, dude. And he did, and fell on his ass. And you're like, oh. This match made me want to see Bronson Reed in the Royal Rumble so bad. Not because I think Bronson Reed needs the win or anything, but I think that if people who watch Royal Rumble also knew that this guy was on NXT, they might watch NXT because they might go, that dude's incredible and a force, and how do I watch more of him? That's what I was thinking. Klump, what do you think of this?
no, I more Bronson Reed always. Honestly, this has got to be Bronson Reed's year. I don't know if I want him to win the NXT title. I think he could just go to the main roster. I think, but I don't know. Part of me thinks he needs to stay down there and get some. He needs belts. He needs gold soon. And I think he's building up well. I mean, I'd love to see him appear at the Royal Rumble. Doesn't have to win, but show up and then go back to NXT. And you're like, oh shit, because he's that fucking good.
Yeah, I think he would put on. Remember when Bianca was in the Rumble and went back to NXT, and everyone was like, oh dude, she's a beast. I think that should be his spot. He should be out there and he should be eliminating motherfuckers and knocking people over. Can you imagine like Ricochet and AJ trying to get Bronson Reed out and he's just standing there like, no, you can't do that? And then it takes like a Keith Lee to take him out? That would make them both look like big stars. I don't know.
No, I agree with that.
Anything I'm missing here? Make him look like what?
I agree with that. I think it would make stars.
Yeah. Amanda, anything we're missing on this one you want to throw in?
You know, he needs gold. He definitely needs some gold. And if you like the use of shove, you will like PWG Bola 2018, his match against Sammy Guevara. Woo! Lots of shove. Lots of power. God, I hate Sammy.
So good.
But yes, that's a very good example of his power. Yes.
Oh. And it's so simple. It's such a simple thing you never see in wrestling. I'm going to shove him down.
Yeah, I'm going to.
And every
push
time
you.
he did it, I was all like, "Fuck, that's good." All right. Well, there's nothing else you want to say about that. What do you want to say about Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch? I did hear one terrible wrestling take, which was a pretty decent take. It's a little shitty when you see your tag team champions get stomped to shit by two single stars, even if they are the champion. I do agree
Yeah.
it's a weird pairing to do because you do have your top 2 contenders for the world title, as it were, against a tag team who are your champions. So I do feel like it is a booking pickle, because do you make the tag team look like they're a superior tag team because you're your tag champions, or do you make your single stars look like a superior tag team because they're such strong single stars? Bit of a mess, but a really good matchup. Klump, what'd you think of it?
I thought it was a good match. I thought, and I do agree with that take in most cases. I think here though, the status of Riley, because Kyle O'Reilly's held tag belts, and Finn as the champion, yeah, I can get that getting stomped. I think it didn't hurt anyone there, and it more builds the overall story, the overall like push here. Now, honestly, if we're gonna knock at the part that I thought was, and this is silly, earlier in the night, them being pulled up or being brought in by Pete Dunne in the mom car. If you're gonna do that, I mean, if you're gonna have that shot, something a little cool or something a little bit more menacing than a Ford Explorer, just like, hey, does anyone?
I think.
Yeah. Hey, does anyone, like, we're in Florida, we all kind of live down here. Yo, do any of you guys own a Bentley? Cool, can I borrow that Bentley?
Cool.
Yeah, like, for a minute, I'm sure there's something, like, you get what I mean? It just was a little bit weird to me. That's me. But
that's true. I think Trent's mom dropped him off. They're all friends with Trent's mom. She makes really nice cookies.
Yeah.
Amanda, what do you think of all this?
You be safe, Oni.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have to let your current champ, win. I mean, that's the rules, And I had no problem with it. It was a good match, I mean, I have nothing to complain about. I did think that car dropping off thing was a little weird. Like, okay, like you're dropping them off for school. Okay, don't forget your lunch. That's what it kind of felt like. And I'm just like, okay, did we need to see that? No, to be quite honest. But I think that the ending really kind of set up, definitely really kind of set up a lot of things, I think. But honestly,
we're clearly going towards Balor and Dunn, and I'm excited for
that. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And then I don't know how I feel about Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know why. It just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know, because when they came out, I was just kind of like, yeah.
That's exactly why I'm fine with it, because I don't have to give him a second thought. Like, oh yeah, they're just kind of tag teaming here right now. Just leave them alone.
Yeah.
And I get to think about Kyle O'Reilly, who to me has been my favorite in Undisputed Era for a long time. Just
yeah, because if he's not like tagging with Fish, then like for me, I'm like, whatever. Anyone else doing whatever, in that fashion, whatever.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I do think it was so good that I forgot that Oni and Danny were the tag champs, because I thought of it more as a story thing where it's like he's trying to get through them to get to Pete Dunne, so that way they don't want to mess with him as much. So I appreciated all of that going into it. In the hindsight, it goes, oh yeah, I guess that was your tag champions. They didn't have to lose like that, but it is what it is. And like you said, Finn Balor is a force, an absolute force. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what they do with it. The only thing we didn't really talk about was it Christian Blake? Is that who it was? Did that little interview and then got beat up because he was supposed to have a match with Escobar, and it didn't take place. I thought that was some pretty heavy storyline that could be pretty interesting. What do you think that tarot card was about?
Oh, they said TikTok.
They said TikTok, but there's
no
way. What? There's no way that Karrion Kross gives a shit about the Cruiserweight title, is there?
Where are you going to put him? But he's not a Cruiserweight.
Exactly. Karrion Kross is twice the size of Escobar. He doesn't give a shit about the Cruiserweight title.
But then look at New Japan. There's Shingo Takagi in Best of the Super Juniors. He is clearly not a freaking,
Junior
cruiserweight.
All right.
I mean, come on. Jesus.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I am interested. I don't know where it's going. I don't think it's Karrion Kross. Klump, do you think it's Karrion Kross?
it would make me giggle, but no, it's not Karrion Kross. Who then would it be? I mean,
I have no idea.
Yeah, like what tiny person is this?
No idea. Oh, is it Cameron Grimes? To the moon.
No, because he's on the shelf for a while.
What happened to Cameron Grimes?
He injured himself at War Games.
Oh, little buddy.
Mm-hmm. I think he had surgery. I don't remember, was his shoulder or something? I don't know, but he had surgery. So he probably is not going to come back till like after Mania.
All right.
At earliest.
Well,
could it
we'll
be that
watching.
legless dude?
Oh, that'd be neat.
Could it be that legless dude from AEW? He probably is in
He's
cruiserweight
free.
territory. Yeah.
Guys, we are going to be watching Royal Rumble this weekend. We're going to be watching NXT next week and AEW next week. We are excited to see where this all goes this weekend at TW Takes Podcast on Twitter, on Twitch. Give them a follow, give them a like. Come check out Royal Rumble with us. Have a drink with us. Come by. Let us know by direct message at all, or even a comment. I don't care. Just let me know you want a shirt, and we're going to put you in the Rumble raffle, and we're going to try to get you to win a shirt. Guys, I think that's the last call.
Let's do it.
Huh?
All right. Last call. Cheers.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.